Hey guys, Spencer here from the editing room. I want to apologize ahead of time for the sound quality in this one. It was our first time doing a podcast all in the same room together. And this day was so crazy. We did not have time to do any concrete sound checks. And we kind of just went for it in the moment. The room was super echoey, and mics picked up every time we put down one of our glasses. So I'm really, really sorry about that. We're going to take a lot of time next year to get this whole situation completely figured out to bring you the best sound quality for our podcast. But it's a super fun episode, so I really hope you guys enjoy it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fantasy Files podcast, where we talk about our favorite fantasy series and topics. We are your co-hosts, Spencer, Gabe, and Chris, all together for the first time in person for an episode, because this is a very special Christmas episode. Today, we are wrapping up the year talking about our favorite books, movies, TV, and video games. And what I'll do is release the full episode on the main channel and then split up the book talk and other media talk into separate videos as well, in case you just want one or the other. Book talk will be on the main channel, Fantasy Files Podcast, and the other media talk will be on the second channel, Fantasy Files Reacts, which will all be linked below in the description of whatever channel you're on, whatever video you're watching. Or you can just watch the full episode in all its glory on the main channel. I'll make sure to put the whole thing as one video on the main channel. But before we get into it, please remember to like and subscribe. It is the best way to support us. And every time you subscribe is one less time I make Gabe wear the sexy Santa Claus outfit while he cleans my car. So do the right thing. But before we get started, we have some gifts to share with each other.
What?
I'm going to start with, you guys have stockings.
Oh, cool, dude.
Here you go.
Cold.
3, 2,
Yeah, all I
go.
feel is cold, dude.
It totally is actually
cold. That's why the charcoal was downstairs. I was like, why the fuck did he buy a bag of charcoal? It's like downstairs on my floor. I was like, I don't have a grill, dude. Woo.
It's potent stuff. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's that instant lighting stuff, you know.
Thank
You
you
just
for the
touch it and it
charcoal.
catches on fire.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Okay, here you go.
Wow.
It's a cheap year. It's a
That's
cheap
good.
year.
It's a cheap year.
Yeah,
bro.
Wow, I went all out for you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, you have a good job.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Whoa, dude. Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. We're getting back to that one.
Whoa.
Kings of the Wild. Made it to my top 5. Great book.
Well,
This
don't
one-
give it away.
Wonderful. Doesn't matter, dude. We're talking
I know,
about
it
the top
doesn't-
5.
Dude, I almost got that book as a gift for one of you guys. So
Oh,
really? Which one?
Dude.
Kings of the Wild.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I found it,
awesome.
so I was like,
I'm just slowly adding to my Jim Butcher collection too,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
damn. I got the Illustrated World of Tolkien. This looks awesome.
Oh,
this
that
looks
does
like
look cool,
This looks
dude.
super cool. Look at those.
Yeah.
Is there like
nails, cool,
pictures
dude.
and stuff? Oh,
Yeah.
what?
Wow, this is nuts.
Cool, dude.
Is there a
Look
Game of
at Gandalf.
Thrones one?
Yeah, so there was that one, and then the Game of Thrones one was the TV show, like all behind the scenes.
Oh,
Like
this is way
pictures
better.
and
This is
everything.
way better.
Okay,
Yeah, this is
cool.
way cooler, dude.
I'm
yeah.
glad I got
Yeah,
that.
this is sick.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And then that.
Last of Us, baby.
Yep.
Can't wait.
Remastered?
Can't wait.
Yep.
Yes.
Woo, woo.
Yes.
All right. So I got some gifts. Spencer, we'll start with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just a sexy Santa Claus outfit.
Yeah.
And car soap.
yeah.
Oh shit, that's the wrong one. That's okay. No, go for it. Yeah. Open it. Yeah.
It's okay. Nice.
Do you have that book?
Oh, cool.
I don't have side jobs. I do have this one, but
maybe that can be for Gabe.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm all for this.
Okay. That's
This
what
cover
That's
is really cool, dude. This is really
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the best.
Okay, this is for Gabe.
Okay, sweet.
It's in an Amazon box, wouldn't you know?
Yes, absolutely. I got one of these the other day from my boss. So.
Well, I kind of read it. And I folded that shit up.
That is so
PlayStation gift card? Yes, dude.
that is a cool box.
Yes. I'm gonna be all set for this shit.
Yeah. Okay. Again.
Oh, is this me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Gabe doesn't like books, so.
Yeah, well, it's not that they don't like books, they just don't really read them. They look great on the shelf.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
shit.
cool,
Yes.
So I don't know if you've read this.
I have not read this one
So
yet.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'll get you the first one.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool because I just got the first trilogy
Okay.
in physical form.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So this will go great with
And then I don't know if you had any interest in reading the first.
I have and the funny thing is I struggled with the audiobook.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
I will read this physically.
Nice.
Okay,
Yes, that is
cool.
perfect.
And then I also got you a PlayStation.
Oh, thank you. Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There we go.
Books. We give each other
Oh.
books.
We got books. I love it.
That's what it's all about. Nice.
Thanks, guys.
Yes.
That's it.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Cheers.
We're all drinking old fashions, by the way.
Yes, Chris made
Chris
old
made it.
fashioned.
Made by
Delicious.
moi.
Yep,
Yeah.
they're delicious.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're good. All right, so let's go into we're gonna do some of our Fantasy Files reacts content. We're gonna talk about movies first, TV shows, and then video games. They don't necessarily have to be anything that like released this year, but something that you either played or watched
this
or
year,
whatever
Okay.
for the first time this year. So let's start with movies. What came out this year? What did you see for the first time that you liked?
I saw The Northman.
Oh, I've been wanting to see that.
Me too. That was cool.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was
Nice.
good.
I heard it was really good.
Most of my friends didn't like it, but
Really?
I enjoyed it. Yeah. I mean, I like. I don't know. I'm a sucker for things that are Scandinavian. And and this was just.
5 games.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was. He's kind of stayed true to the whole Scandinavian.
Cool,
feel.
dude.
Yeah.
That's
There's
awesome.
there's this one part where they're all just in this like, this, I guess it's a great hall.
Yep.
And they're all just like skull, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, like, that's what I want to see.
I just
dude.
felt that,
That's what I want to see.
skull.
And that's
Awesome.
that's Skarsgård, right? He's the main guy.
It might be. Yeah,
Oh,
I forget his name.
I think it's funny how there's like, I mean, I guess it's definitely not specific to this year, but in the past like couple years or past like 2 or 3 years, there's been like an increase in like Nordic themed
Yeah.
stuff. Like the Viking show came out, Assassin's Creed Valhalla,
Oh yeah.
the Northmen. I feel like there's a God of War. There's a lot of like kind of
God of War Ragnarok. Yeah.
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 Did you guys see the Batman with Robert Pattinson?
No.
Yeah, well,
No,
you and I
I
saw that
know. I
together,
haven't
right?
seen it.
Okay,
I
yeah.
haven't seen it. It's
Oh.
on my list.
Super
I've
good.
never
Yeah.
seen it.
Okay.
super good.
Yeah, it's on HBO.
It's really long. Isn't
It is.
It
Yeah,
is
it's like
really
3.5 hours or something
Dude,
crazy.
they honestly like there was enough there for 2 movies because
Yeah.
there's there's like a distinct point in the movie where you're like, okay, this is a completely different story.
Storyline.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so like I really wish they had cut it up and just like put 2 movies out or something, but
They just said cram it all in one.
Yeah.
It's still worth it though.
but I've been describing it to people like you both know I love grimdark stuff.
Yeah.
It's grimdark Batman.
Okay.
And I just absolutely loved it. It's not my favorite movie of the year, I don't think, but yeah, it's definitely up there.
I will watch it. I've got a lot of media to catch up on this winter break.
Yeah,
so-
I do too, man. I do too.
Yeah, when we get into TV shows, man, there's a lot that I missed from this year for sure. Movies.
Yep. So I watched Bullet Train for the
Yes.
first time. I didn't even know that this movie was out. That's how disconnected I am from media, dude.
Wow.
I don't know the movies.
Yeah.
I don't know the TV shows. And Spencer's like, he's been here for a couple days. He's like, you guys got to watch Bullet Train. I was like, all right, let's do it. And at first, it started out the movie, and I thought it was a foreign film because it's like
It
in
starts
Japan.
very Japanese,
with
subtitles.
yeah, exactly. And so I was like, okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
And then then of course there's like 5 A-list actors that show up, and I'm like,
Brad Pitt.
okay, that's what
Brad
this is
Pitt.
gonna. Yeah, Brad Pitt, and so I was like, it was really good though, dude. That's probably my favorite movie of the year. And mind you, I haven't seen a lot of movies.
Sure.
Like at least not a lot of new movies. So
Right.
it's definitely my favorite that I've seen.
So yeah, I actually started that on a plane, but I did not get to finish it. So it was like,
Oh.
I was like, I want to finish.
Yeah,
it
dude.
because
yeah.
the
How
first-
far did you get?
Probably maybe just under an hour. into
Okay.
it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it gets
Yeah,
really
it
good.
gets like as the movie goes on, it gets like significantly
Yeah.
like better and better. It just
Okay.
like snowballs all
Yeah,
the way.
it was really enjoyable. Those
Yeah.
two British
Yes,
hitmen are
yeah.
hilarious.
Yes.
Tangerine and lime or
Yeah.
lemon.
I-
Lime and tangerine.
I likened them to Locke and John.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're so
Definitely.
funny.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think my favorite movie of the year, and I went back and forth between is it Batman or is it there was one other that I was considering. Obviously, it might have been Bullet Train. Bullet Train might have been
Yeah.
the other one that I really
Mhm.
liked. But for my favorite movie of the year, I am landing on Elvis.
Oh,
Oh,
I
you
haven't
watched
seen
that?
it. Yeah, I
Okay.
haven't seen it. Did you go to theaters and watch that?
Yeah.
That was good, huh?
It was so amazing. And like leading up to the movie, I knew that it was gonna be good because I love those like
Yeah.
not like documentaries, but like Johnny Cash's like
Yeah.
Walk the Line.
Yeah.
Movies like that. Those have always been like some of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
And so I knew going into Elvis that I was absolutely gonna love it.
Mhm.
And I did not leave disappointed. That
Nice,
dude,
okay.
I left that theater. I listened to Elvis for the next like 2 weeks
Nice,
because I
dude.
was watching the movie. I'm like, dude, I forgot how many like legitimately good songs he
Yeah.
has.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And like they're so like prevalent. It's almost like there was a lot of songs that I forgot that Elvis did.
Yeah.
And there's songs that we hear all the time. I'm like, oh, that's
People
right.
just
like,
cover them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, Elvis was the first one to do that. So yeah, definitely Elvis, and just seeing his whole life. I feel like I had like a very basic understanding of who Elvis was and like what his home life was and like kind of where he came from. But the I almost said the book. The movie brings it into like so much more detail, and
Yeah.
seeing it like acted in front of you, your heart like breaks for him.
Oh,
You're just
really?
like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like this poor guy.
Yeah.
And just time after time. And like he has like great moments too where he's like on top of the world. But
Right.
there's other moments where you're just like, can he catch a fucking break? Like,
Jeez.
oh my God. And all the way up until the end, I was absolutely enchanted. So
Okay.
Nice.
definitely.
Yeah, the trailer definitely intrigued me. I was like, this looks like something worth checking out.
Yeah, it was fantastic. You can watch Elvis on HBO. Elvis is on HBO, and then
Okay.
Bullet Train is on Netflix.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
yeah.
Good to know.
All right, TV shows. This is where I'm gonna drop the ball a little bit. You guys probably saw more TV shows this year than I did, even if they weren't like released this year.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll start with Chris again. What was your favorite TV show?
Arcane, the League of Legends.
Oh,
TV show.
cool. I've been
Yes.
really meaning to watch
That was actually really good.
Yeah.
Every person, not every person, but many of the people who have come on our podcast have told
Me
me
to
to
watch
watch
that, yeah.
Arcane because like
Yeah,
I
specifically-
tried it, dude. I tried it. You know, it's hard. I watched it. Tried to watch it with Leah, and she didn't like it, which makes perfect sense why she wouldn't like it.
Right.
So I just have to find time to.
Wait,
do it.
why does it make perfect sense?
She's not into the animated stuff.
Yeah,
Oh, it's the
yeah,
animation that
yeah.
gets it for. Okay.
Kind of. And she doesn't. I don't think she understands the whole kind of fantasy. Like, you know, I played the game. Like, I played a ton of League of Legends,
Okay.
Mhm.
so I love all the characters and stuff. So it's just something I'm gonna. Have to
Well,
do
see,
by
for me,
myself.
it's like I've never played League of
Yeah.
Legends.
Same,
so
yeah.
I still really.
But still, I
enjoy
mean,
it.
yeah, definitely.
It's like I'm aware of League of Legends, but it was like, I
Yeah.
never played.
I think it was just like the animation was some of the most like beautiful
Yeah,
animation.
It takes
that
a little
I-
bit of getting used to, though.
It
It's like a
does,
strange
yeah.
style.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's almost like a cell
It
shaded.
reminds me of like
kind of-
Borderlands, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, especially some of those later episodes when like cities start exploding
Yeah.
and stuff. It's like, wow, somebody like designed this.
Yeah,
like that.
it's
It
so
just
cool.
it blew my mind.
So cool.
Yeah, Arcane is definitely good. What about you?
Shows would be House of the Dragon.
no spoilers. I haven't finished it.
No, I haven't either. I'm only 4 episodes in.
Oh,
Well, I just started
Yeah.
it. Like I just finally started it, and Leah likes
Oh, that's
it.
right. You were texting us. about
Yes,
it.
and I just started it, and so far we love it, and it's awesome.
You were like,
Yeah.
Are the Targaryens into incest?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I said. Because
Yeah.
I was so confused in that scene. I was like, wait, why are they doing this? And then Chris was like, yeah, that's like their whole bloodline.
That's
is
like their
incest.
thing, man.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, all right, that makes sense. I
Yeah.
must have missed that.
Yeah, incest and dragons.
Exactly. Yeah.
Incest and dragons.
What a combo! Like,
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, so for me, it's hard because I feel like it's cheating to include this because I can't even remember if I talked about this on last year's kind of like wrap up podcast. But I was going back on our episodes to see like kind of what we did this year and whatnot. And Dexter, the new season
That
of
was in
Dexter,
February.
it's yeah.
That was in February, right?
Right.
Yeah, I remember.
And
that.
so
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like it's cheating to say that like Dexter New Blood was like my like favorite series of the year because I can't remember if I talked about it last year. So if I didn't talk about it last year, then Dexter is Dexter New Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yes, absolutely House of the Dragon. Absolutely.
It was super good. Huh? Yeah,
Oh
okay.
God, you've watched it, right?
No.
Wait,
Fuck,
did you say
Chris.
have you started?
Yeah, I haven't
Okay.
finished it
How
yet.
far are
Okay,
you?
how far?
Like 4 episodes.
Okay,
yeah,
we're
yeah,
in the
yeah.
same boat then. Same
Dude,
boat.
House of the Dragon, obviously no spoilers or
Yeah.
anything, but House of the Dragon, what I've been saying is it has been years since I've started a episode. I'm talking about the finale. It's been years since I've started an episode, completely just like leaned back in my chair, just watching it. And by the end of the episode, I'm biting my fingernails on the edge of my seat,
wow.
sweating,
Wow.
just like, oh my God, like please, 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 just like begging the TV to make it turn out how I want. What a fucking incredible finale.
Did it turn out how you want?
I can't answer that.
Can't answer that. Good man. Good man.
Oh,
Good
man. Yeah, dude, that show has characters where there's characters that you'll hate from the very beginning, and near the end they'll be like your favorite characters. Like,
interesting.
you know, Daemon Targaryen became one of my favorite characters.
I mean,
in the
I
entire.
already really. It's weird.
Yeah.
As weird as he is
Yeah.
right now with the shit that's going on, I really enjoy his character.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like I think he's such an incredibly well thought out character. He's very complex, as you guys will see in the next few episodes. Like he comes off as like kind of like this showy, like don't give a crap about anything kind of guy. And like as you learn more about him, you learn how he's kind of maneuvering.
Okay.
And
I can already see that maneuvering
it's
happening.
really
Yeah.
really cool.
Interesting.
And as others have said, there's been people who have been talking about the show, and they're like, man, how did they make incest so hot?
Dude,
It's
yeah,
like,
I was like so utterly confused
Yeah.
when that scene happened. I really didn't know why it was happening.
Yeah. There's certain scenes where I'm like, this should not be
Like, that's
like
like-
as steamy as it
Oh
is.
my God, that's your uncle. That's your uncle.
No.
Uncle, cousin, sister, whatever.
Yeah.
It's all the rage these days.
Yeah,
That's
it's all-
That's right.
stepsister.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Exactly.
Boy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I honestly don't think because I didn't. So here's what I didn't watch this year. I didn't watch the new Westworld. I didn't watch The Boys. The Boys is one that
I
I'm
haven't
like,
watched The Boys
I
either.
haven't even seen a single episode of The Boys.
oh yeah.
I mean, I just haven't seen the newest season.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to watch. Yeah. I need to
Yeah.
watch that too. Yeah.
I know. I keep meaning to watch it, and then every time I try to, I'm like, I just want to turn on like something else, and it just like never makes it into my playlist.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I really want to make an effort to watch The Boys this next year because I've heard that season 3 is
Yeah.
just as good as all the other seasons.
And I really enjoyed the first. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess the other one that I watched this year that didn't make it into my favorite show of the year, but it's Barry. Have you seen Barry?
Oh yeah,
I've been telling you about it
you
for a
told me
while.
about it too.
Yeah,
He's like
that-
an assassin.
yeah, he's like it's kind of like a dark comedy. It's almost like I think it's a lot like Dexter. I think that people that like Dexter would like Barry very much. It's a little bit more comedic than Dexter is. It's a little less serious.
Okay.
But it's about this guy who is like an assassin and he works for like cartels and mobs and
Yeah.
all it takes out contracts. And while he's in the middle of one contract for the Russian mob in LA, he stumbles upon this acting class, and he decides that he wants to put his mercenary life behind him and become an actor. And so it's one of those, and I think this is why I liken it to Dexter. It's very much one of those things where he's trying to keep these two lives separate.
Okay.
And they keep crossing over, and people keep getting hurt
with each other.
Yeah. And I think that the moments that show is at its best is during those times.
Okay.
So definitely recommend Barry as a honorable mention.
I was gonna say the last season of Ozark came out this year too, right?
Did you watch it?
I haven't seen any of that.
Oh,
you guys ever watch Ozark?
Yes, I'm not that far. I think I'm in season 2. But yeah, it was the last season. Was it the final season?
It was the final season.
Was it good?
It was disappointing.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was good, but like the ending just kind of didn't make sense to me. I was like, this is a little bit uncharacteristic of some of the characters. But I will just say, fucking Wendy Bird, man. Those who know.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of likened like if Barry is kind of the successor to Dexter, then I feel like Ozark was kind of the successor to like Breaking Bad, maybe.
In a way, yeah.
Is Ozark about like
it's like a family that gets into money laundering.
And the kid, I've seen
Bird
clips of that. Yes.
And they're like way out in the Ozarks.
Yeah.
And and there's just a bunch of hillbilly crazy people out there and stuff. It's really good. What I've seen of it. Yeah. Ruth is nuts. She's awesome. She was one of my favorite characters.
Have you guys heard of the show Yellowstone?
I have watched Yellowstone.
My parents, my dad and my mom, my dad texted me the other night. He's like, "Have you watched Yellowstone?"
It's like, son, you have to watch.
Yeah, it was one of those moments because, like, it's kind of a hick family, that I come from, Western cowboy stuff, and so he was like, "You would love it. It's all about cowboys of Yellowstone." I was like, "That does sound cool."
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'll try it out. But apparently, they were like up in arms about, like, they were excited. Like, it was like my dad was like got under his seat towards some of the endings of the seasons and stuff. So I was like, "That's cool."
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people like it. That is definitely one that I want to check out at some point. Do either of you guys have Apple TV?
No, I don't.
Okay. Yeah. I've been wanting to get Apple TV because I've been recommended so many times For All Mankind, and which I guess is like an alternate timeline, like America versus Russia to the moon kind of thing.
Oh wow.
And then Severance. I've heard that Severance
is Severance on Apple TV? I thought it was on HBO.
It's on Apple TV.
I've been recommended Severance too.
Yeah. I've heard it's one of the very best shows of the year.
Yeah, that's what I've been told as well.
Yeah. So I've been and there's a lot of like movies and stuff on Apple TV that I've been wanting to watch too. Even like some horror movies that I really wanted to check out. And I don't usually watch a whole lot of horror, but there was a couple that really piqued my interest.
That's
so
cool.
Yeah, there's also that TV show about that soccer coach on that's supposed to be
oh gosh, I was thinking of something else. There's another show that anyways, go on.
Well, that's
soccer. It's different.
It's like a comedy on Apple TV. It's very popular, and I'm forgetting the name, but
okay.
I saw this commercial for the show about there was these 2 girls that escaped like war-torn Syria and came to America to like do swimming. And apparently it's supposed to be, it's very like kind of emotional, like heartfelt show, but I've heard that it was like really moving and really good. So I would totally watch that if I find it.
Ted Lasso.
Oh yeah, I've been recommended Ted Lasso.
Yes.
Okay, I had no idea what it was about.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I watched a few episodes with my roommates because they were watching it. They had Apple TV. And it was fun.
Like,
I was like, man, this is a show I can finish.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so video games. Favorite video games of the year that you played for the first time this year?
Okay, I played Warhammer 40K Vermintide.
Oh, you were talking about that.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I did like it. I didn't play a ton of it because it was kind of a late night thing, and one of my coworkers was like, "You have to play this game. We can play it together."
Yeah,
it's dope.
Yeah.
So the Steam version and the Microsoft Store version are different. So I bought the Steam version. He has a Microsoft Store version, so I can play with him.
You can't. That's
you can't cross. I know, dude. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
And so, but I played the intro, and I mean, it's like it reminds me. It's like a new Left 4 Dead, just beat 'em up shooter hack and slash.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
exactly.
And that's
that.
that's what it
You
is.
get to
And
use magic and
magic and guns and
guns,
just
melee.
fuck people up with an axe, and it was really fun. Like I can see like playing that with a teammate, I think would be really fun. But like playing it by myself, I was like, this is cool, but like I don't know how far I could take it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if I had a team and we were working together, I think it'd be pretty fun. But it was cool. The graphics are nuts, dude. Some of the gore is like just out of this world.
Really?
Dude. Yeah, it was really wild.
What did it end up being like Shadow of Mordor, or was
No,
it?
not at all.
Oh,
Not at
okay.
all. Yeah, I've never played Shadow of Mordor, but I've seen enough of it to know that it's not. The graphic style is similar, but it's much more like a Left 4 Dead style thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
okay.
it's like there's hordes.
Yeah,
of, like,
you move through this like you have a
warrior
mission you have to
creatures.
get from here to here, and then all of a sudden you have 170 enemies like running at you. And you just gotta hack through all of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it was fun.
But yeah, the sequel that came out, Warhammer Darktide, that like literally just released. Like,
Maybe that's the one
goodness,
that I was. That could have been the one that I was playing, dude.
I mean, that's brand new.
Okay. Well,
Vermintide is.
I say I downloaded like 8 days ago, so I don't know.
Shit, it might have been Darktide then. Yeah, but Vermintide is more well received than Darktide. Darktide doesn't have great reviews.
Yeah, it was Vermintide. That's what I got.
Yeah, that one's pretty highly regarded at the moment, but Darktide has been mixed
feelings.
Yeah.
So is that your game?
Dude, I mean, yeah, and the reason why is because I haven't fucking played a lot of games, dude.
What about the new Call of Duty?
Yeah, the new Call of Duty's fun. I kind of have to put that in a different class because like there's the fun multiplayer games, but like game of the year for me would be like a story-based game that like grabs me, like pulls me in, and like I would love to play. So yeah, for like the fun factor and like the late nights, Call of Duty would be the one. Probably, but like.
What about the ghost hunting game? Is that this year?
No, so that was way back when Phasmophobia. So that came out years ago. And for the first time in like 2 years, I downloaded it and started playing it. And it's like a brand new game. There's like so many new updates. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
You know, with this group of like 4 other dudes just talking like it was super fun. I think I would love to play with you because I think you would shit your pants.
It's fun.
Have you played it?
Have you played it in VR? You know,
no,
VR,
yes.
right?
But I have it ready to play in VR.
Oh, okay.
Nice. But I want to.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what about you?
Sure. So I haven't had a ton of time for video games this year either, unfortunately. But I working my way through BioShock Infinite, which can you believe that game came out in 2013?
I know.
It's almost 10 years old. It holds up very well. Like when I was playing it, I was like, "Oh, this looks pretty decent," and the gameplay is decent, and it's like. In my head, I was like, I think this is almost 10 years old.
Yeah.
I looked it up. It was like 2013.
Yeah.
So BioShock Infinite is great. I'm very interested in the sequels that are coming out. Maybe BioShock 4 and this other one that the creator's making. So that one was good. I think I talked about this. Well, no, I definitely talked about this on some of the other podcasts, but Sekiro from
Is that this like Shadows Die Twice thing or is that the
yes
thing? Okay.
Yeah. And so that's FromSoft's like samurai kind of ninja warrior game, and it is fantastic.
Is it story based? Like, is it like you?
It is. There's a little more story to it than like your typical Dark Souls game where you kind of try to piece together what's happening. But it is such a polished game. Like everything.
Cool, man.
Perfect.
Yeah, I've been seeing that on my.
Like I love the combat system is just so refined. It's just, everything works. Yeah, it's really good so far. It's hard. It's very hard.
Yeah, that always pops up on my recommended at Steam.
Sekiro. I like it a lot. I really need to finish it. I'm itching to finish it. Many hours into it, and it's. So that's a good one. That'll probably be that's probably my top.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
I mean, it's a well done game, and I've never been a huge Dark Souls fan. Like I've kind of been like, I'm interested, but I've never been a diehard Souls fan or anything like that. But this one is, I just definitely love the Japanese style and the art and just
cool.
the
samurai shit.
It's a little more simplistic in terms of like the tools, like the weapons available to you than like Dark Souls. You can build a mage that throws spells,
crazy stuff,
uses a great sword.
This
your only weapon the entire time.
You have your sword.
Is
there a lot of different ways to use it though, or is it?
That's what's great. Is you have like all these different abilities and styles, and then you have this prosthetic, which you can switch out all of these different tools in your prosthetic arm, and that adds a ton of just
Wow.
variety to the
Nice,
gameplay. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's so that's what makes it. And honestly, like I love just using your single sword. It's
Just
like
and just fucking
he's
shit
like he's a
up.
shinobi.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
that's- Why would
He's
he
a
use
ninja,
anything else?
dude. He's
Like,
a
it's just
ninja.
like
Yeah, that's
so
so
it's cool. It's like I like it. It
Yeah,
makes-
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, so I played that, and then I played this great little indie game that was kind of like a
I love
RTS of
indie
sorts
games, dude,
called
yeah.
Northgard is what the name is. It's
Okay.
it's like a Viking RTS.
Cool.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty fun. Like
Yeah.
it's got a I would say a pretty art style, and it's a little bit like I don't know, think like Warcraft 3, those
Yeah.
like those old
Yeah.
like RTS
Yeah.
type of things. But it looks good. It looks pretty and it looks nice.
That's cool,
and it's
dude.
just there's a storyline. I played through the camp. I actually played through the whole campaign. It was like it's just fun. And
Can you play with other people?
you can for
Okay.
sure, but I just
Yeah.
played through the
Yeah,
campaign, and it's like you have all these different Viking clans that, of course, each have their own
Yep.
perks and like
Yep.
play styles.
You
And
can
so
pick one.
it was just fun. It was well done.
That's
It
cool.
was just,
Yeah.
I'm always looking for good indie games, dude. Like if I ever when I jump on my computer at night and like start to play a game, like the first thing I do is like go look at indie games.
Yeah.
'Cause I
Yeah.
love indie games, dude. Love
Yeah.
it.
There's some really cool indie games coming out too. I follow this YouTube channel called, it's a weird name, it's called Math Chief, and
Like Master Chief.
he like highlights all the indie games that are coming out,
Mhm.
and I'm floored with what some people are doing with Unreal Engine.
Oh, it's
right.
nuts.
People who just like buy the software or have access to it or something, and they're just like making just the coolest games. I'm like, dude, I can't wait to play
Have you guys ever heard of the game called Teardown? It's an indie game.
that.
So it is like the most purely incredible physics-based destruction game I've ever played.
Oh, I think I have.
So like you jump into this world. The goal is there's these certain beacons, and so you have to like break your way through these buildings and build bridges and like use stuff to like hit all 4 of these beacons in the quickest time.
Mhm.
But I've never done that. I just go in and start like dropping buildings, and it's
Right.
so much fun.
Oh,
dude.
you were showing me
Yes,
this.
I mean, and it's like the weight transfer, like balance, like if you knock out a side of a building, like it's it's gonna fall down. Like it's really cool. Really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, so for me, I think Deathloop was my game of the year last year. And ever since I played it, it made me really hungry to go back and play Dishonored. Did you play Dishonored this year?
Was that this year? That's what
Yeah,
I was
I think
thinking
that
about.
was this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I played and beat Dishonored 1 this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice,
Oh, you
dude.
got it.
Completed it.
Yeah.
I fucking
Nice.
finished the video
Hell
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I know.
Yeah.
Dishonored was amazing. That was
Dude,
that
I
held,
haven't played
again.
it.
That probably came out before BioShock Infinite.
Yeah,
and that was a game that
yeah.
held up. I was
Yeah.
like, this is good.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
dude.
it's
That's
good.
cool.
Yeah, you got to go on to Dishonored 2 now. I've been waiting for you to
I know.
load it
I know.
up. Yeah, so following Deathloop, I got really hungry to go back and play Dishonored. So I played all the way through Dishonored, all the way through Dishonored 2, all of the like DLC and expansions and all that.
Wow.
And then after that, I was really hungry too. I was just on like this nostalgia kick.
Yeah. Yep.
And so that's when I went into BioShock Infinite.
Okay.
And so I played all the way through BioShock Infinite again this year. Just such a fucking amazing game, dude. I cannot wait. I'm like such a huge like super fan of that game. I cannot wait for the next.
I wish I would have
installment.
finished it before this podcast. I was like,
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
dude, the ending, like specifically the ending, will just blow your mind. It's got the craziest story. But yeah, and so then I kind of went down a rabbit hole of just like replaying. I can't even remember what all I replayed. I think I went back to like Days Gone.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
and a
that's
few-
That's on
but-
sale right
I watched
now
my
on
brother
Steam,
play
yeah.
that game's wild.
Dude, I love it. Like it got kind of bad reviews. But I think they patched in a lot of the things that
It's
were
got decent
bugging
reviews
it.
on Steam, I think.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
It's on PC, so maybe I should pick it up. It's
Yeah.
on sale like 60% off or something.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys definitely
Yeah.
gotta play it. 'cause
Just remember,
it's-
like when that game came out, they called it the Horde engine, right?
Yeah.
The way that the zombies will horde and fucking chase you, I was like, that's cool. dude.
yeah.
So is
dude.
it, what do you like about it? Like the gameplay, the story, like is it all?
So I mean, it's basically this open world RPG set in Oregon, and it's just the story is really good. Like there's this big reveal about halfway through, and halfway through the game you think that you're like done with the story.
Yeah.
You think that okay,
Hmm.
I'm getting to the end, and then there's this big like huge twist that like just messes with everything you thought you knew.
Okay.
And then you realize, oh, I'm only halfway through. Like I still have like another half of this game that I gotta go do. So it's really long. But the combat was so addicting, and it's one of those games where you like there's a lot of open world games that I play where I don't really want to go explore, like something like a Far Cry, or even
I love exploring off Far Cry.
I know. Or even like what was I playing recently? There was another open world game that I was playing recently where I was like, I kind of just want to do just like the main story. I'm like, I don't really care. But something about Days Gone, they hit this like perfect recipe with making you want to explore everywhere, because everywhere you go tells you a different story of how things got to be the way they are.
Okay.
And there's lots of like weapons and stuff to unlock. And so it does more than, go here and collect 5 of these things and kill 5 of these type of zombies or whatever. It's like it motivates you in a story way to continue and explore.
Okay.
So I think that's what I like most about it, but also the traversal. Like the reason I like the Spider-Man game is because of the traversal.
Yeah,
you're swinging around
yeah.
New York City as Spider-Man, and this game you're flying around Oregon on the most like badass motorcycle, and you can upgrade it, and so you make it faster and faster and faster, and like better like handling, and like able to take like bigger jumps and have more health.
Wow.
And you get so addicted to, if nothing else, you get so addicted to building this bike up.
Oh, that's cool.
And you only have one bike in the game.
And
so you're not jumping on a bunch of different bikes like Grand Theft Auto or anything. It's like
it's yours.
It's your bike, and that bike like very much becomes a character. It has like a personality kind of. And so I love the traversal in that game because it's just so much fun.
Have you ever played Dying Light?
No, but I've been meaning to. That's on my like very soon.
I have a coworker that said that Dying Light 2 is his favorite game he's ever played.
Yeah,
ever.
I
like it's absolutely astonishing.
Wow.
Yeah. It, it's a parkour based on
it. Is,
yeah.
And I was like, how fucking cool is that, dude?
Yeah.
Like the graphics are nuts, the physics are wild. I was like, yeah, I need to buy it.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah, it looks incredible. From what I've seen, like every time I see like a gameplay video of it, I'm like, how have I not?
It also looks scary, dude.
It does.
There's some scenes where like I'm like, I would shit my pants playing this game right now.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go on such a huge tangent. Days Gone is not my favorite game of the year. So it's between I'll say I also basically played Fallout 4 for the first time.
I was gonna bring
this
Fallout
year.
4 up. So I was like, if you don't mention Fallout 4, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. So Fallout 4, it's a game that you were trying to get me to play for a long time.
Yeah, and forever ago,
And
dude. Like when I first knew Spencer.
Forever
Yeah,
ago.
like
seriously,
like a couple
years and years ago.
Yeah, like a couple years ago, he came over. He's like, okay, we're sitting down. We're gonna play Fallout 4, and I got to the part where like I meet Nick Valentine in Diamond City and do a couple quests, and he got me set up with like some good starter weapons and stuff. And he's like, all right, that's everything you need to like get started. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna play Fallout 4.
Here I go.
Yeah, that's right.
And then literally never touched it again.
Wow.
And like I on the one hand, I'm like, I can't believe that I didn't play this before. But then on the other hand, I'm like, I'm so glad I got to experience this now.
Yeah,
like
I'm
so glad that I waited until a time where I was really gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
And for the past at least the past 6 months, I've just been so hooked on this game. I started it after I finished BioShock Infinite. And dude, this game, I showed you guys, I've just been building my
This is crazy. This dude's got like 300 hours into this game.
Yeah, I've like every day, it was to the point where I think the last time this happened with a game was Skyrim, where I would go to work and I'd be like, I just want to get home. Play Skyrim.
God, that feeling.
That's dude.
Like I just don't want to be here. Like I just want to get home and turn on the PlayStation and go. And that's exactly how I felt about Fallout. Like for the past, not the whole time, but like there's been certain moments where I've been at work and been like, like I'm borderline calling in sick to play this game. Because it's so addicting. There's so much to do out in the world, and it's another one of those games that's not like collect 5 of these things.
No,
and like it's very like there's lots of side missions. There's a ton of like DLC and stuff that I haven't even like ventured into.
Yeah, you got to do some of the DLC.
So I'm
Far Harbor, I think.
Far
Harbor,
dude,
the Nuka-Cola one, the Vault one. I did a little bit of the Vault one, but I haven't touched Nuka-Cola.
So you haven't done Far Harbor yet?
That's like the best one.
Yeah, I've done a bit of Far Harbor. Okay. Yeah, I really like Far Harbor is the thing that got me into HP Lovecraft this year.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too.
But yeah, so Fallout, like it should be my game of the year, but my game of the year is Horizon Forbidden West. I love this game so much. I cannot like explain how just giddy I was the whole time playing this game. I think it was the same kind of thing where I'm like, you know, at the time I was working for myself, so I could do whatever I want. Yeah. But it was like, I'm like today I'm staying home. I'm playing
I'm gonna play this game right now.
And dude, it's so incredible. Like I love the first one so much. Like if I had been doing a podcast back then, Zero Dawn would have been my game of the year back then. Yeah. But this game, like it really didn't change a lot. It just added on to what was already there. Yeah. So it feels like a very detailed and very high budget expansion. Yeah. And like the story is never going to be as good as like that first game, but the story was excellent. Like when I finished the end of the story, I was crying.
Wow.
Nice.
And I was just like, it filled me with like so much hope for the next game. And I was just like, dude, the next installment of this story is going to be so amazing. Like the next place they're going with it, because you can kind of see what's happening.
Yeah.
And they just added like a ton of dinosaurs. I think that was kind of my gripe about the first game, is there was only
repetitive enemies or something.
Yeah. Well, there was only like a few types of robot dinosaurs. And like in each area there was like 3 main ones. Yeah. And so in this one, they just added so many where like I could go into that game right now and still find new dinosaurs that I haven't found before. Okay. And they're coming out with an expansion, but it's only for PS5. And so I'm
Us
like,
PC guys are left in the dust.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
And so I'm like, oh my god, that's so fucked up. But so I'm super excited to try that when I get a PS5 someday. But yeah.
Because you're still on the PS4. That's what.
Yeah. And so I just loved everything about Forbidden West. The story was perfect. The they added new weapons and new armors, and it was just bigger. Like there was just more to do, more side missions. And there are some things that are kind of like collect 5 of this and kill 5 of this or whatever. Yeah. But for the most part, the side missions are very like story based and
that's kind of a staple of games like that. Dude. There's got to be a couple where it's like, you got to go get 7 of these like shrubs. Yeah. Bring it to
Go get 7 of these shrubs.
Yeah. It's always like some healing plan. Like go get like 7 of these and bring it to the elder or some crap.
Right.
I just can't see games like that without those kind of missions.
Yeah.
It's necessary. Yeah.
It's necessary. Right. It's a necessary evil.
But yeah, incredible game. By the way, listeners, I made a 45-minute like deep dive review that nobody has fucking watched.
He showed me, and I was shocked. This is like so well done.
I put like so weeks and weeks of effort into this video. So if you want to see me review Forbidden West,
really good.
It should be on both channels.
Did you release that review like right after the game came out, or?
Yeah,
pretty much. It's been out for a minute.
Like I finished the story and then spent another like 20 hours capturing game footage.
Okay.
And then another couple weeks of like editing and stuff. So it was relatively soon after the game came out. But yeah, go watch that if you want to see some of my deeper thoughts on that.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. We just finished games. All right, so we're gonna look back on our stuff from 2022. so what regarding the podcast, like what was your guys' favorite thing to do on it this year?
Me first?
Sure.
Okay, so God forgive me, I can't remember the names. The two girls that we had on, I can't remember the name of their podcast.
Oh, Fiction Fans.
Fiction
podcast.
Fans. That one was probably my favorite. That was so much fun, and those girls were just delightful. It was a super great conversation. Number
was
one.
that for Soul Survivor?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that was on their channel.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, well, still, podcast that we did. I guess does that count?
No, that's fair.
Okay, cool. So that was
Does
super
that
fun.
count?
I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
You can edit that out.
No, that's fun.
And then on our channel, I would have to say that it was Mike's book reviews. We did that really recently, and that was just such a good time. Mike is a great dude.
So you guys gotta tell me what was this about? This.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mike's book reviews. He's like one of the probably like top 4 or 5 people that do like book YouTube stuff.
Okay.
And I had tried reaching out to him a long time ago, and it just never, like, I never got a hold of him because some of these people that, you know, have big channels, it's like, how do you get a hold of them?
Yeah, when they have like day jobs and stuff,
Yeah.
you know, it's like they're
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
And like, you know, a lot of them like turn their DMs and stuff off.
Yeah.
And so I went on to, he was doing a live stream, and I paid for a super chat, and I was like, hey man, like, we love your channel. We would love to like have you on sometime. And he was doing live stream. I comment, like, you know, when you pay
Popped
for
up
a
to the
super chat, it
front,
gets
yeah.
forced to the front. And so he read it. He's like, oh yeah, man, here's my email. And he like gave me his email on the stream. And so I was like, okay. And so I like emailed him to like his personal email and got it rolling.
Wow.
And it took a few months of kind of like back and forth trying. I think we were originally supposed to do it in like September or October or something. And then it got pushed into I think then it was supposed to be November. Then it got pushed into early December.
Yeah. Okay.
And so yeah, it was a phenomenal pod. We just had him on to talk about, like, not necessarily book related stuff, but like we talked
about cars, like we talked
Yeah.
about all sorts
Okay,
of stuff,
cool.
man. It
TV
was
shows,
really
like
cool.
that. Yeah. And yeah, you know, with some of these, and no offense to any other creators, but sometimes, you know, you don't know how cool these people are going to be when you're like actually shooting the shit with them. And there's definitely been a couple times where I've been surprised on our podcast. And dude, he was just like so
Pleasantly surprised.
I'm not naming names. But no, yeah, he you know, he's always seemed like a great guy in his videos, and so then for him to come on our podcast
And be an actual great guy.
dude,
Great guy.
Dude, he was
great
so
guy.
like nice and so down to earth and just so like encouraging, and what a phenomenal guest that Mike was. So.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And then who are these other ladies that you went on there?
Oh, so they're Fiction Fans podcast. I don't think they don't do video in theirs. It's just MP3.
Straight audio.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're on like Spotify and stuff like that. And they've been friends of ours for a while. We had them on
For
Night
Night
Angel.
Angel, yeah.
Yeah, they came on for Night Angel, and then I went on their podcast for a Stephen King book.
Yes, The Dark Tower.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then
Did you read that whole series?
no, I just read the first one.
Okay.
I didn't like
I
it.
didn't even finish the first one.
Yeah,
So-
it was. I want to keep going, but like
It's tough.
I just didn't. Yeah, I just didn't like it. And so then, but we've been for the whole time that we've been a podcast. I've been talking to them like on Twitter.
Okay,
They're like
okay.
good friends of ours. And so the last time when I went on for the Stephen King book, I was like, you know, if Stephen King isn't your thing, I'm like, Dean Koontz might be. And so I recommended Soul Survivor, and so they read it, we read it, and then we went back on their podcast, and we were there for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was just
And-
good.
So they liked
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. They really liked it. Of course, we love it. It's one of my favorite books of all time, and yeah, just really cool people.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what episodes have you been on this year? I may have to go.
I was like, that's a great question. Do you have a
Yeah,
list?
yeah. Well, because it's been so spread out too,
Mhm.
dude.
I mean, one in particular stands out, but
yeah, go for
Let's
it.
hear it.
I'll look at the list.
well, obviously that's the one that we did with Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
yes,
was pretty. That was a
definitely.
pretty big deal.
Definitely. Yeah. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
Very big deal.
Yeah, that one stands out for sure.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was great having her on and just getting her thoughts. And
Yeah, it's just crazy that
fishing for a few,
yeah,
questions.
yeah, we're
kinda
digging
a little bit, getting
fishing
in
for
there.
answers.
Yeah.
I guess although another thing that I really enjoyed was in the winter months earlier in the year when we were watching Dexter and like
Dexter.
reviewing those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't part of that. But
Dude.
you guys had fun with
That's
that.
part of why I enjoyed it because Gabe.
Yeah.
Was part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was gone. That's right.
I'm
I
just
was
kidding.
gone.
Yeah.
But that was cool. Just being able to watch a a TV show I liked again.
Right. That was so great for me too, because like you were the person that like got me
Got you
into
into
Dexter.
Dexter, yeah.
Like when I first moved over to Colorado, you were all watching this Dexter show, and I think you guys were already like 5 at that
Probably,
point. It was
yeah.
like 5 seasons, and you got me into it, and I got like super addicted to it. And so it was really cool to be like, all these years later, it's been, God, what, almost, it's probably been like 8
to 10 years.
Yeah, 8 to 10 years since then.
Wow.
And over that span of time, it's become like honestly, if I'm being honest, it's probably like my favorite show like of all time. And so being able to, the new season comes out, it's Dexter New Blood, it's like, what the fuck, they released another, this is so crazy.
Yeah.
To
Like,
make up for the
like nobody ever thought that they would do this. And then to have you on the show to do
was
it,
fun,
I was
yeah.
like,
It was a lot of fun.
man, yeah, that was really special. And then you came on for Mage of No Renown.
Yes.
I did.
That was
Yep.
a good
Yeah.
one.
We did some Mr. Robot episodes that haven't been released yet because you guys haven't watched the fucking season.
Mr.
So
Oh, I knew
we're
that
gonna
was
have
gonna
to
come up at some point today.
we're gonna have to make that a priority.
Mr. Robot was a
Yeah.
good. How did I not mention that during the TV
Yeah.
show?
Oh yeah.
I did this same issue. Like,
That was so good.
Yeah.
I just can't wait to fucking figure out what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. Well, watch the fucking show.
I know it's been
God, dude, I need to. I literally have to consume media this week. Right?
Yeah.
That's it. You just have to hunker down.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
skiing, no hikes,
Nothing.
no
No road
snowshoeing,
trips.
no-
Yeah.
TV,
just-
TV,
yeah.
TV.
Yeah, just eat food.
Watch show.
Watch.
And then you just barely made it into this year with Wise Man's Fear. That was the last one.
That was January.
before Dexter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Wise Man's Fear, Mage of No Renown, Mr. Robot, and Cavalcade.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I think just looking at our list here, I honestly this year I've really enjoyed doing a lot of the like 30-minute reviews that I've been doing. So
Yeah.
I've been doing like a lot of skits with my dog.
Yes,
Where
which are
like
so
I
good.
put him like in front of the green screen and just
nice,
do
okay.
something stupid.
Yeah.
The teacher, the one I don't know if that was
Yeah, that's this one.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
that one was so good.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I love
Leah
it.
pissed her pants watching that. Cracked up.
Yeah, I really enjoyed doing a lot of these just like little reviews and stuff. And this year I feel like we've had more guests on the show
Yes.
than ever before.
Seems like you guys have had a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Definitely. There were some points and times where every weekend there was guests. for
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
4
For, like-
weeks in a row.
right,
3
yeah.
weeks in a row. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, there was definitely, and I think like the podcast is kind of at its best when there's like 3 people
Yes.
who can bounce
Yes.
things off each other.
Definitely.
And we've definitely had it overcrowded at times when we've done like big author panels and
Yeah.
had like 6 authors
Wow.
on at the same
But
time.
those were they were fun in their own way.
Yeah, they
though,
were just
dude.
like
Yeah.
fun and
Yeah.
chaotic and
Yeah.
just like, okay, I guess we're doing this.
Yeah.
Guess we're doing.
But yeah, we've had a lot of really cool people on from the community. So thank you everybody who's given us their time this year and
Yeah,
read
definitely.
a book with us, doing a read along, kind of giving up your time for that. We really appreciate that. And then of course I think mine would be like Mike's book reviews, but since you got that covered, I want to say Chris McGrath.
Yes.
Dude,
that
he
was
has
super
been
cool.
like, I am such a super fan of his. He does all the like Dresden Files artwork.
Okay.
He does the artwork for King's Dark
Just like Night
Tidings.
Angel too, right, or something?
No, he doesn't
No.
do Night Angel, but he does all of Brandon Sanderson's.
Wow.
Well,
Really?
he doesn't do Stormlight, but he did all the Mistborn,
That's cool.
Era 1 and Era 2.
Did you do those new Mystic
Yeah,
covers?
they do.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And yeah, he's done a lot of stuff. And so yeah, that getting that interview, like that was one of those interviews where I never thought
Yeah,
that
well,
we
and,
would
and
get
you were
because
like, you
he's
were
so-
surprised because you
Yeah.
called me and you're like, I didn't think this would happen in a million years, but you
Yeah.
said yes. I was
Yeah,
like, dude,
'cause
so cool.
I bothered him for like a year.
Yeah.
And I got his email from his website and I reached out to him and I was like, hey, I'm like, because he doesn't have any other interviews. He has like maybe one other in existence and it's like 5 minutes long.
Wow.
And so I reached out to this guy and I'm like, dude, I know you don't do interviews, but I'm like a massive fan of yours. I'm like, can you please just come talk to us for an hour? And he got back to me and he was like, I don't know at first. And it kind of like went back and forth for a long time. And then finally, like, I think that he was worried that we were gonna ask like some gotcha questions or something.
No, yeah.
And eventually I was just like,
That's not what this is.
it's like, no, dude, I'm just like a huge fan. And so eventually he came on. It took forever and a lot of back and forth, but eventually he came on. It was such a fantastic conversation. We learned so much about like the kind of the art industry and what goes
graphic
into
design
creating.
side of things. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like his like early life, he told us like how he became an artist and him in like art school and then him teaching art school and stuff. And
Interesting.
it was like listening to like a autobiography or something.
Yeah, that's really
cool.
that's really cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then of course Kelcade.
Yeah.
Kelcade, God, dude,
That was
I
wild.
mean, obviously, like I'm sure your guys is too. One of my favorite authors of all time.
Absolutely.
And that was, man,
That was unexpected, is what that was.
Yeah.
Is that the only interview she's ever done? Like,
Yeah, dude.
It's the only one she's ever
literally
done.
got
Yep.
the first.
Yeah.
It's wild to think about.
that is crazy.
She's like, she's huge. Dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think she's done like panels on like Reddit and stuff.
But not like
she didn't ask me anything, right? Like,
yeah, but she hasn't done a interview like we did.
Wow.
So that was like really cool to be a part of like having the only one in existence. And then just like every time we've had Holly on,
dude, right? Holly Tinsley,
Holly
fucking
Tinsley,
best, dude. She's so awesome.
You've had her on multiple times?
Oh yeah, we've had her on a bunch of
like
times.
4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, for her 2 books and then
just
we
to
had
have her on to shoot the show.
we had
Just
her
because
on
we're like friends with her.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I think we had her on for one other book that wasn't hers, right?
I don't know. We had her on for like
a couple times.
We had her on for like both her books, then we had her on one time with RJ just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
And then we had her on for her birthday.
Yes, that's the one that I was thinking of was her birthday.
And like I like went and bought a cake.
Yeah.
And I
Spencer
put,
like has this cake and he's like, I'm just gonna eat this by myself, but here's your birthday cake.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
I put like 5,345 on it for the numbers. Yeah. And dude, that was we talked about like aliens and ghosts.
Whoa,
and
dude, the ghost conversation was wicked.
Yeah, that was really cool. So having her on all the time is like, dude, she's such a great person. I love Holly. And then we got Mick. Mick started coming on our podcast.
Dude, Mick's a great guy.
Dude. So one of our goals for last year, you and I had talked about on like our year-end wrap-up thing was like we want to add like not necessarily like a another full-time co-host, but someone like Chris does where they kind of like come in and out
whenever they're able. And
dude, having MJ Kuhn on as much as she's been on this year and having Mick on, I'm like, dude, they're kind of like involved. They kind of come in and out for various things. She joined us for interviews and to read she recommended Kings of the Wild to us, and so I'm like, if I'm just saying, if either of them ever wanted to come on as a full-time, mostly full-time
part-time.
Full-time part-time
exactly
co-host, the offer's out there for you guys. So all right, so we talked about our favorite episodes and guess what do we look forward to and hope to do in 2023?
Wow.
That's a loaded question, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Here's what I want. I want more
Telescape
authors.
Yeah.
And more, just like you just said, more people
on the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want more author interviews. I want more Creators Corner, some of more.
Dude, that's something we
Creators
should
Corner
talk
is the
about.
shit,
Dude,
that's
this
so
our,
amazing.
that's the one we brought Mike on for. We had we've been reaching out to like other
Well,
book
and we
book
did it with
tours.
the Legendarium too. That was
Yeah.
Creators Corner, yeah.
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 And so we reach out to other people that do the same kind of fantasy podcasts or fantasy YouTube channels and stuff, and we have them on to talk about content creation and to,
how their channel started, what
Yeah.
were their struggles, stuff
right,
like that. Yeah.
and you know, then we kind of go off the rails from there. Like
Sure.
we talked about cars and video games and stuff. But those have been really cool. We had Cam Wolf on. He was the first one. Then we had Craig from the Legendarium,
which
and
is
then
awesome.
we ended the year with Mike,
Yes.
which was an excellent way to.
But I would love to see like one of those a month, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that'd be so great.
yeah.
so
That'd be cool. And now we're friends with Jake Bishop, so who did the Dresden Files episode with us. So he could come on for one. Yeah, if you're a content creator, whether you have a podcast or
Spotify thing,
BookTube
whatever,
or whatever, or even like Book Talk or something, if that's your jam, then reach out to us if you'd like to do a creators corner.
The collabs are always the best, man.
Yeah,
they were just the best.
Yeah. I think for me, my goal would still be to like find, again, not like permanent, like whatever that means, but like someone who like comes in and out as a regular co-host who will do like buddy reads with us and stuff like that. I think that'd be really cool to get someone who, if we're missing a guest that week, like
we can call.
Hey, you want to read this book and come on this week, and they'd be like, yeah. And then other than that, I would love to like get Fantasy Files Reacts off the ground, and I don't know how I would do this, but I would love to get like a Fantasy Files podcast episode out every week, and then a Fantasy Files Reacts episode out every 2 weeks. Whether that's just me doing like a spoiler-free review or like us talking about a show or whatever. I would love to somehow do that. And again, if you're a content creator out there and you want to talk about movies and TV shows, let us know, because Gabe only has 1 day a week that he can do podcast stuff. But if you want to watch a show with me, we can buddy watch a show. And I think that's really like the main thing. I don't think I have any like lofty goals for 2023 other than just to see the subscriber count continue to go up.
Yeah, that should be an always goal,
Yeah,
always is.
for our Discord to get off the ground, linked below in the description. Just be even more involved with this community. Is there any content that you want to do next year? Like any video games, TV shows, or books that you really want to get into content wise?
That's a tough question, man.
We're doing Stormlight next year.
You are?
Yeah.
I would like to be involved in that.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to start that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was I was gonna say, just for me in 2023, I would like to finally check off some of those books that you guys keep recommending that I keep adding to my list.
The old TBR.
Yeah, it's like I mean I've got a Google Docs list of like,
that's right,
and I check them off, and I'm like, all right, here we go. But I also this year I tracked the books I read, and so I want to continue doing that.
Nice.
So I can be like, all right, I read this in this month. So
that's cool.
I was able to tell. I was like, oh yeah, I finished Wise Man's Fear in January of this year.
No,
so
that's really
2022.
Are you tracking it through like Goodreads or just like a doc? Or
no, I just use a Google spreadsheet.
That's
okay,
cool.
That's cool.
I should do that, man, because I burn through books so fast on Audible. Like I can just read a book so quickly, and I was like, I've read 200 books this year, but I have no fucking clue which books they were. I don't remember what I read. Dude.
That's why I say I'm like, go to your purchase history.
No,
that's the only way for me to tell.
I mean,
otherwise I would totally forget.
Literally just takes a second to fill in an entry on.
That's right, exactly.
Like,
dude, every time just do it.
That's it. So that's what I'm gonna plan to do that next year and make that a little better.
Nice.
There's some series I want to read. I don't know. It'd be cool. I was thinking, it'd be cool if we did like, I said we, but like I don't know if you guys have the idea, but like
it's a we, dude. It's a we. We're there. It's a we.
I like what about reading? We read a lot of contemporary, modern fantasy, sometimes sci-fi. What if we had special episodes where we went back and read like a classic, like
Dude,
like fantasy?
I
or
would be
sci-fi,
super down
or,
for
like,
that.
I
Yeah.
think you would fall off. I think you'd start a classic and be like, I don't
Nah,
like
you
this.
No,
Yes.
dude, I bullshit.
Anytime I've given you an older
Bullshit.
book, you've been like,
Okay,
I don't like this.
Name them. Which books?
Eye of the World, The Wheel of Time.
Oh yeah, well fuck the Wheel of Time, but okay.
Well, I was thinking like,
but there's other classics that are like you could have like a classic stand, like one classic book, not a classic fucking 8-book series. You know what I'm saying?
Even make
classic
one book.
Well, no, that's not the point though.
Okay, what classics do you like then?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying you have
Okay,
to. You
all
fucking let me try it.
All right, yeah, no, you can.
so we might lose Gabe, but
We might
No,
lose Gabe.
you won't.
but-
Gabe's like, no, you fucking won't.
You didn't like the Gunslinger? That's pretty much a classic. At this point.
Gunslinger, which one? Wait.
That's the Stephen King.
I mean, it came out
yeah.
in the '90s. Yeah.
I didn't like that.
So you're just
Yeah,
talking
I
about
didn't-
classic, like just like an older book,
I'm
Yeah,
talking.
classics
Dude,
are
I'm
good.
talking like
like cult classics, like
I'm
this.
talking like
this is shit.
1960s, 1970s,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
maybe even older, like
And like
Isaac Asimov,
Yeah,
Robert Heinlein.
I
like,
can't do Asimov. I'll tell you right now, I can't do Asimov.
We don't have to do Foundation. Like that's a lot.
Yeah.
You don't like Asimov, though?
I've never read them, but I'm just like I know I can't.
Oh, you
I
can't.
just know I can't.
Yeah. Maybe yeah.
Or like what's the other one? Three Body Problem. I'm like,
The Three Body Problem.
I'm
That's
like-
that's by a Chinese author.
Yeah, I'm like I can't do that one. That's way too.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That one's not even that old though. I don't think.
Really?
I don't think so. No,
Oh,
it's just been translated from Chinese, so it doesn't always. Like,
I'd be down to do like Hyperion or something.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Hyperion.
Yeah,
Yeah, Hyperion
okay.
would be good. Or, God, I don't know if we could all get through Dune, but like,
I've always
Something
wanted,
like
I wanted to
It'd be-
read Dune,
it'd be
dude.
tough.
I know
but
Dune
yeah.
is thick, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I could give it a try.
But it's like maybe like occasionally it's like all right,
Yeah.
Let's
Fantasy
just-
Files throwback.
and we can find like a classic that's like like not huge.
yeah,
Yeah.
Just
Fantasy
like a
Files.
quick
Because
read classic.
there are some gems that are
yeah, dude.
small. Like,
Yeah.
there's some. I've got a little list of like some really like
Nice.
apparently
We-
quality like.
We could do a deep dive on the prose of Beowulf in all its
Okay,
translations.
maybe not that old. Yeah. The first fantasy epic.
Yeah, that's right.
Or
Ever.
the
Ever.
what's the Odyssey or the
Mhm,
Iliad? Yeah, that'd be rough. But yeah, I'd love to branch out. I feel like this year we've kind of branched out on a lot of things. Like we've gone more into like sci-fi this year and more into
And
like
like horror too. We've read a lot of
horror,
like
yeah.
horror, like OG horror books.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
for me, the sci-fi is always has the biggest draw. So it's like,
Yeah.
I'd love if you guys did more sci-fi.
No,
Yeah,
I would love to do more
yeah,
sci-fi,
recommend
man.
one. I'd
Yeah,
love it.
absolutely. I think that's the genre that I would probably be attached to the most,
Okay.
like from books that like I've never heard
Yeah,
of or read.
right.
Would be sci-fi would poke out.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So something else I just thought about this next year, I want to start live streaming.
Whoa.
Oh,
I
that'd
want,
be cool.
I want to start doing things live, and I've kind of been looking into it. I was originally going to do this as a live stream,
Yeah.
but I was like, I'm just going to start it next year. Like I don't,
Yeah.
I'm like I
No,
don't want to.
that's cool.
I don't want
That's
to figure out live
That's fair.
streaming
This
on
is
vacation.
this
Yeah,
is
exactly,
this is a
yeah.
good Christmas. Like
Yeah.
what we're doing is
Yeah.
a good live stream.
Right. Yeah.
So we can interact with the chat and be like, oh, we got a
Yeah,
question in the chat.
that's right.
See
Yeah.
that'd be super cool. And the other thing is I think that we need like some more subscribers for it. I
Yeah,
think we need
fair.
like a pool of people who will be there for
Yeah.
live streams. And I think that by the time that we get to like next Christmas, there'll be like enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the subscriber count has been
Steadily.
snowballing. Yeah.
Wow.
And like it's the past month and a half has been slower than it was in like October and
It's
September.
still been continuous.
But it's been
Yeah.
continuous and like kind of where at first we were getting like one subscriber every like week or every 2 weeks or something. Now we're getting like every time I check YouTube, it's like 30 subscribers in the past 28 days.
Wow,
Or whatever. So
okay.
it's like one a day pretty much. almost.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's going steadily up, but I would love to start live streaming both for like book stuff, but then also on the Fantasy Files Reacts channel, I'm looking into getting a Elgato capture card to plug into my PlayStation
Oh,
to
so
be
then
able
you
to
can.
stream games.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, and so I'd love to start doing streaming like that, like
Yeah.
just video game content
Okay.
or whatever.
Be fun.
So yeah, I think that'd be cool.
We could have a drinking game with the audience next year too.
That would be fun,
Yeah,
dude.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Ooh, what would it be? Every time we say,
We'd
Have you guys
every time we say fuck, we have to drink. That would. Oh.
It'd have to be something that interacted with them.
That's right. Yeah. Have you guys seen that drinking game? This doesn't interact with the audience, but there's this wooden peg, and you have this ring that's on a string, and so you have to like toss this ring and get it on this little hook. And so there's a shot glass and 8 spaces. So you get the ring on the hook, you move the shot glass towards the next guy. And you just keep trying, and he gets it, then the shot glass comes back. And I was like, that looks like so much fun.
That does sound cool.
Yeah, the Amazon sells a kit. It's like $40. You can get it. And I'm thinking about buying it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I would love to just do like random stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like even like we could put it on the second channel. Like even if it's not necessarily like book related, just like us.
Sure, you just come and just dink
Yeah,
around,
off
dude.
topic,
Yeah, that'd
shooting
be cool.
shit, whatever.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, I'd love to get into that. If anybody has any tips for live streaming, definitely hit me up on Twitter or whatever. All right, so we are going to go into our favorite books of the year.
Yes.
I think this will probably be like our longest segment here. So we're gonna start with like honorable mentions, things that are not in our top 5 that we read this year and really enjoyed. How many books have you read this? Did you look at like how many it actually was?
I didn't do a tally.
Okay.
But not as many as you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's okay.
That's fair.
Yeah, I do have some honorable mentions. I read the first part of Shadow and Claw, which are those books by Gene Wolfe that I told you about.
Yeah.
Those were, I only got through the first half, like, because it's actually 2 books in one, I guess. Yeah, it was an honorable mention because it's a little bit hard to get into because of all the language that he uses. Like he uses a lot of words that are archaic now and no longer in use. And so it's to build the world, but there's a lot of it makes it a little bit like when I read, I usually am doing it at night before bed, and it makes it a little more difficult to stick with.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
a very interesting concept, interesting world. I do want to get back to it at some point, but
Okay.
yeah. So that was one. I also read Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman.
Oh yeah.
Which that was a TV show first, I think, that he worked on, and then he wrote it into a novel. And it's about like this whole other kind of fantasy world within London. Yeah, like they call it like London below, and then like London above is like where normal people live.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that was it. That was I'd say, classic Neil Gaiman. It was good. It was interesting characters. He always writes very interesting characters, but the overall the world, I didn't find like the story, the main character, they didn't really resonate with the main character.
Yeah.
He kind of is just he's nothing special.
Yeah,
That's fair.
My turn.
Yep.
All right, so my first honorable mention is it's a trilogy called Sufficiently Advanced Magic.
Yeah.
I read it this year. I didn't write down who it was by, so I apologize for that. But it's
the author's like motherfucker.
Yeah, he's just so mad, dude. You can look it up. It's fine.
Unsubscribe.
But it was a really cool, like it was kind of a palate cleanser for me, and it was a really cool read. It kind of reminds me of it was a little bit like Cradle and the way that the magic was used, which was great.
Like progression.
Progression, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's like sigils, like these sigils are what the magic is based off of, and so you can earn different sigils, and there are these towers, and when you go in the tower, like if you go like do the tower, it's like a challenge, and you leave the tower, you get more type thing, which is pretty cool. So it's a great story, lots of awesome characters, and so that was super fun. And then my last honorable mention would be Cradle. So I didn't finish Cradle. I made it to book. I think I made it to Black Soul. I don't think I either started it and didn't finish it, or didn't even start it.
Okay.
But I at least remember 3 books. And I did like it. I don't think it's what I needed at the time.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it a lot, and the progression is great. Lots of super crazy shit happens. And so those are my 2.
What was it similar to like Avatar? Avatar: The Last Airbender?
No,
Oh,
I wouldn't
okay.
say that it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I always saw like Avatar when I looked. At those
So
books.
yeah,
I haven't read them.
no, yeah, I would say that it's different. I think there's some similarities, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's quite like that. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. My honorable mentions, I have a few.
Yeah.
God, I feel so bad about this.
Just say it, dude. Say it.
I feel so bad that this didn't make it into my like top 5 because God, there's just so many fucking good books that I read this year,
Yeah.
and I just feel like absolutely terrible. But at the very top of my honorable mentions, like it would be number 6 on my list,
Yeah.
is The Hand That Cast the Bone by
Oh
Holly Tinsley.
yes.
She even put my dog into this book.
That's true. She
which-
immortalized his dog, dude.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Let's just stop and say that. That's a huge deal.
So for that alone, it really should be in my top 5. But it's so tough.
Yeah.
And then I read the Buried Goddess saga, and this is like there's no way that this would like make it into my top 5, but I enjoyed this series a lot more than I expected to. It starts off as almost kind of like a buddy cop comedy where there's like this thief, there's like this royal knight who like works for the queen, and the thief gets into jail and the knight comes and like kind of breaks him out because the knight is on like this quest for the queen and he needs the thief to help him. And so they both kind of like hate each other because they're such opposite ends of the spectrum. And I just really enjoyed it because they're both like so funny in their own way. Like the knight is like really like stoic and tough and like, you know, good triumphs over evil and kind of stuff. And then Whitney Firestone is the thief, and the guy that does his voice in the audiobooks is just so funny. Just the way that he reads his lines, I'm just like cracking up all the time. And he's just like this crafty, like conniving, manipulating thief who's just hilarious. And then as the series goes on, it progressively gets like more and more serious to where you're at the end of the series and it's not at all like a comedy anymore. Like it's still like funny in parts, but like by the time you get to the end of it, there's like big like epic fantasy stuff going on. And yeah, I really enjoyed it the whole way through. There was maybe like the second or the third book I was kind of iffy on, but everything else was really smooth sailing. I loved how just the character relationships in that series. And then my third one is The Troop by Robert Jackson Bennett.
I wanted to read this so bad. I meant to ask you this like literally 2 days ago because I was out of books and I was like, I remember you talking about this book. So that's gonna be on my next read for sure.
The Troop is by the same guy that did the not Far Harbor. What's the fucking name of that?
No, it's Lockman's is the
Foundry Side. Yeah. He did the Foundry Side books, and this was like I don't think this was his debut novel, but it was one of his earlier books, and it's about this kid who goes looking for his dad, and they're kind of in like an alternate timeline Earth, and it's like back in like the maybe like 20s, like early 1900s. And this kid goes looking for his dad and he finds him, but his dad is like the leader of this troupe, like this, they're not like circus performers, but they're like a musical troupe.
Traveling troupe.
Yeah. And they just kind of, there's like these, it almost reminded me of the Matrix, like, you know, like Mr. Smith or whatever from the Matrix. There's like those kind of guys.
Mr.
Like,
Anderson.
Yeah, they're kind of like following this troop and they're like evil or whatever. And it's so hard to put into words like what this book is because it's so it bends reality in so many places that I don't know like how I would explain how everything connects.
Okay.
But basically there is a major supernatural element that kind of runs through this book. Kid looking for his dad, he finds him and they kind of travel this with the troop for a while these kind of supernatural baddies come after them. And it, you know, when I say it like that, it sounds really like
sci-fi or like,
well, it just sounds like kind of, I guess, basic, but like there's so many like complex themes throughout the whole thing, like what family like actually means, and like, you know, if like, because he's looking for this dad that was never there. Yeah. And so when he finds him, like he kind of has like his whole thing is like, when I find my dad, we're gonna be like best friends. And
forever
like
together.
and you know, when he realizes that I'm his son, like he's gonna, you know, love me and all this stuff. And that's not like exactly what happens, and in some ways like it is, but it just kind of like makes you question like what really is family, like who really are the people that like are there. And I don't know, I really loved it. It had probably one of the most beautiful endings that I've ever read. It had me like crying like hard at the ending. So I think that you'd really like it. The audiobook is really good too. I thought the narrator was good. And then Among Thieves by M.J. Kuhn, that made it into my honorable mentions. I almost forgot that I read it this year, and I was going back through my purchase history, and I was like, oh yeah, that's got to be like an honorable mention. She took a lot of like inspiration from Lies of Locke Lamora.
Okay.
And it's kind of like this thieving guild, and they're kind of going on this mission to steal this like magic quill. And the characters are really good. It's pretty grim dark. There's some really like just kind of super morally gray characters, and I really really enjoyed it. And of course, MJ Kuhn, one of my favorite guests that we've had on the podcast. She's absolutely phenomenal.
Cool.
And then Last House on Needless Street.
Oh, you told me about this one, yeah.
That I've been waiting for you to read because I think you'd really like it. But I don't even know where to start with that book. It's very much like a kind of like a Stephen King kind of thriller suspense kind of thing. And you know, this little girl goes missing, and there's this man that lives on his own who's very like emotionally and mentally damaged. And you know, you're led to believe that, you know, maybe he had something to do with the disappearance of this girl, but you're following him. It's from his point of view. So you're like, you know, I don't want to give too much away, but for all intents and purposes, you're following like the villain's point of view for almost the entire book. And the way things get like explained, and because it's one of those books where you think that you understand everything, and you're like there is nothing that can like justify what this person did. There's nothing that can like explain it. Like this guy is just a bad guy, and even some other characters, like that's just a bad person. And once everything, I've never like flipped so much on like an understanding of a book. It had one of the greatest twists I've ever read. So Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward is definitely at the top of my honorable mentions. Like if I was doing a top 10, it would make it into it for sure. Nice. Hey there, Spencer here from the editing room again. I wanted to add in that I know for a fact Gabe had the Threadlight trilogy by Zach Argyle on his top 5 list for this year, but it got bumped down by one of the books he read really recently. And I think he may have forgotten to put it in his honorable mentions. But like I said, I know it was absolutely one of his all-time favorite trilogies. He's reread it like multiple times now. So I just wanted to make sure that got a shout out in this video. All right, so we went through all of our honorable mentions. Do we want to start with our top 5?
Yeah, so
our number 5?
Number 5, that's what I was gonna ask. Okay. So I mean, I'm ready.
Cool. Do it.
So my number 5 for my top 5 of the year. I just finished this book. It was incredible. It was Dark Matter.
By Blake Crouch.
Blake Crouch.
Yeah.
And I was so thoroughly surprised because I started it and made it 20 minutes in, and like either wasn't getting it or just like was not wanting it at the time. Stopped it. 2 months later, he's like, "You need to finish it."
Yeah.
I get another hour.
You didn't finish.
I know, dude. And I get another like hour in, and I was absolutely sold, dude. It was so good. Such a just mind bending. The whole time travel thing is like really got me up in arms because I'm like, I want to see more of it. Like my thought process is like, what else is time travel? Like
I got a bunch of them.
Yeah, I know you do, and I've asked you about it. And I was like, I want to see more of that stuff. So it was really just a great book, and I just started Recursion. I haven't finished that.
That's the semi-sequel to
semi-sequel. Yeah, it's not quite connected, but it's very similar.
Yeah.
And so I just finished book 1 of that, and there was like I think 5 books, chapters or whatever you want to call them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like broken into.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
So
You've read it, right?
I have, yeah. I read it years ago. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I went through it in a matter of like
Days.
yeah,
hours.
yeah,
okay.
I was just like,
yeah,
I was
dude,
just like, holy
going,
shit, I can't
yeah,
stop.
I know,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's how I feel too. And so that's just been an awesome thing to read. So that's my number 5. Yeah,
Sweet.
Dark Matter.
That's funny because my number 5 is also a book by
Blake
Blake
Crouch.
Crouch, yeah.
Oh, what is it?
Nice.
Pines.
Oh,
it's
cool,
Pines?
dude.
Okay,
Awesome,
cool.
awesome.
Yeah,
Sweet.
Pines was a great, easy, exciting read, just
Yeah.
like Dark Matter. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got it down. I was,
Oh
just
yeah,
like, I was
it's on my TBR. for
very
sure.
intrigued. I was like, oh, what is
Yeah,
happening
this is
here?
crazy.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to go on to the sequels because it's a trilogy.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
I've been meaning to keep going with that.
Yeah, I was satisfied with just ending it there. It had
Me too.
a decent ending.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was.
Yeah, you're
Awesome.
right. It's like it's short and sweet, and there's so
It's a
many
fun
like
read, you know?
there's
Yeah,
so many
it's
like twists and
yeah.
turns, and I'm kind of like Mike from Mike's book reviews. He was the one who kind of was recommending Blake Crouch there for a while, and it wasn't like the first time I had heard of him because I had watched like the Wayward Pines TV show when I was younger and stuff, and I knew there was a book. But when he started reading them, I was like, okay, I'm gonna read Pines.
Yeah.
And yeah, what a fantastic book. Like once everything gets revealed, it's like holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God. Yeah. All right, so talk about last minute additions
Oh, okay.
to my
Okay.
top 5.
Oh, boy.
And this is why I was apologizing about the Hand to Cast the Bone is because it was my number 5.
Oh, they got
I
knocked
see.
off.
Okay.
I recently read, so let me start by
Yeah.
saying
Preface it.
I first read The Gunslinger by Stephen King.
Yep.
And I thought it was fine. It didn't like blow me away or anything. And then I felt I liked Salem's Lot a little bit more.
Yeah.
We read Salem's Lot for our Halloween episode this year, linked above in the annotations. And I just felt like so blah about either of them. But there was this one Stephen King book that Mike's book reviews had been recommending for so long. And I'm like, it sounds right up my alley because I love Time and Again by Jack Finney. And that is 11/22/63.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. Okay. So I needed something to read like 3 weeks ago. And I had this in my wish list on Audible for a long time, and I just never pulled the trigger on spending a credit on it. But we recently got a subscription service to Scribd.
Yeah.
And Scribd doesn't have everything. I made a review for it. I'll put it in the annotations. But it does have a pretty select library for horror and general fiction. It has a lot of Dean Koontz.
Yep.
It has a lot of Stephen King. It has a few fantasy and sci-fi books.
Okay.
But it was on there. And so I'm like, I am not losing anything by trying it out because it's a subscription service
So
like
you just
Spotify
try
or
whatever.
Netflix.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And so I put it on after I forget what I had even read before that. But I was like, I'll just put it on and try it. And literally from the first 15 minutes, I was absolutely hooked. And a lot of it isn't even like this, action thrill ride. And it's not anything like that. It's very much like a slice of life. A lot of it is very much this guy just kind of going about his life.
Yeah.
He's a teacher who's divorced, and he just kind of like isn't satisfied with his life at all. And he's got this friend who runs a diner down the street from him. And one day he gets a call from his friend Al, and he's like, "Hey, can you come by the diner? I got to talk to you right now." And he's like, "Okay." He goes by there, and Al is 5 or 6 years older than he was yesterday.
What?
And he's like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "I have cancer." And he's like, "That doesn't explain how you look like this over the period of a day.
Yeah.
What is going on?" And I was like, if I try to tell you, you're not going to believe me, so I have to show you. And in the back of Al's pantry, there is, I wouldn't call it a portal. It's kind of like this space between worlds. And you kind of walk into it in a certain way, and it takes you back to the late 50s. And it always takes you back to the same day. I think it's 58. It takes them back to the same time, same day in 58. And no matter how much time you spend there, when you come back, it's 2 minutes later.
Oh, whoa.
Every time.
Whoa.
And so what Al was trying to do was he was using the portal to the 50s to get really cheap meat and ingredients for his shop, and then he'd sell it because it's inflation.
Oh yeah.
And then he'd just keep doing that over and over. And then he was like, what if I saved President Kennedy from being assassinated?
Yeah.
It happens. It happens like 5 years after the thing. And he almost got to the point where he was going to save Kennedy. And then he found out he had cancer, and it's getting to the point where like he can't function, like he can't physically do it. And so he recruits, God, I forget the main character's name. He recruits him to be the person to go back and save Kennedy.
Wow. Okay.
And it is like, I put it as number 5 on my list just because I was afraid of like recency bias. But I truly believe that it is one of the very best single books I've ever read.
Wow.
Like
high praise.
Dude, it moved me in ways that I did not expect. And a lot of it was like, because this guy has to kill 5 years before he can even save Kennedy, because it always takes him back to that day in 58. And so he's like, for 5 years, he's just like living his life, and he finds, kind of a love interest, and there's more that happens with that. And meanwhile, he's setting up things for whatever it was, 62 or 63, where he finally has to take down Oswald. And so he's kind of maneuvering all these things in the meantime. And then also he has friends that he knew from his time, that like he has a friend that his friend's dad killed his whole family back in 59 or something. Okay. And so he goes back to try to stop that. And so he goes back to try to like stop all these things and make like this perfect timeline. And it's interesting to see, like, you can't save everybody.
No, yeah.
And dude, it's so
that sounds nuts, bro.
And like, I'm not gonna say that like I was crying throughout the whole book, because I wasn't, but there was probably like 4 or 5 times where it made me cry. And it wasn't just like a tear, it was like from my chest, like
heart-wrenching, sobbing. Yeah.
Oh, like it just hurt. It hurt so good. And like I legitimately, it's like a 35-hour audiobook.
Damn.
And so you spend like a long time with these characters. And so it did the same kind of thing that like King Killer did, when you spend that long with these characters and something tragic happens, or even something happy that brings, it makes you tear up. Like you feel it a lot. And just the way King wrote this, it's so good. It's so amazing. So that's my number 5. You guys should both read
well,
it.
it's literally my next read, because we talked about it last night at the bar. It's my next read.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys are gonna love it. And the narrator is phenomenal. The audiobook is so good.
It's my turn.
Yep.
Number 4?
Yep.
Okay, number 4. So my 4th my 4th book of the year is Kings of the Wild.
Yeah.
And I don't really, we did an episode on this. We have the author on. It was like just such a good book that I think the thing I loved about this book the most, like the story first of all was awesome, but the amount of comedic, like just happiness that it brought to the table was just so like unheard of. Like
I heard it was funny.
I haven't read a book, but it was funny, but it was like such a subtle, like just pure.
It's
awesome.
Like smart. Funny.
It's smart funny,
yeah.
Exactly, dude, exactly. And so it was just really, really awesome. We loved it. I also read Bloody Rose, so I'm just gonna tie those in together. Yeah. Bloody Rose is awesome as well.
Okay.
Super good. And so they were awesome, and I definitely good shit.
Yeah, I was gonna put Kings of the Wild in my honorable mentions, but I knew you'd have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's man, yeah, the characters in that book,
So
those,
good, dude.
like that is like a character driven
Big time.
story.
Yeah, big time.
And they're just so lovable. Like I loved every single one. Every single character I loved it.
Yeah.
And yeah, what a great experience that was, because that was our first author's choice episode where we had an author come on and recommend a book and be like, you guys are reading this book.
Yeah.
And Kings of the Wild had been on our backlog for a long time. And MJ Kuhn was like, okay, you're reading Kings of the Wild. And so that was fun to do like the discussion with her.
And then we had her on for the author episode, dude. It was so cool.
She came on as a co-host and interviewed Nicholas.
Yes, it was super cool.
Wow.
So that was a ton of fun. That was another really great interview. Great guy.
Cool. Fourth is A Mage of No Renown by
Sal K.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, the prequel to the King's Dark Tidings series. About Wesson, our favor's resident mage. Yeah. I enjoyed that a lot. It's shorter than the average King's Dark Tidings KDT novel, and I liked that. To be honest.
Yeah,
it was refreshing, man, because it was like quick and just like easier than committing to like 60 hours of a 3-book thing or whatever.
Yeah. And there was some great moments in that. We met some great new characters as well, and that come back and
crazy power-ups, dude. I love the magic in that. Freaking series.
We got to see a closer look at the magic because it was just Wesson.
Yeah, it was. So that was neat. We got some exploded lambs, which is great.
Yeah.
And then again, I'll keep saying it, but Dia has got to be the best fucking woman in the world for Wesson to keep going after her.
I know. They're just like utterly upset.
How hot is she, man? Like,
that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, what does she look like? So funny.
Oh man, yeah. That was a really great book. I really enjoyed getting that before the fifth one, and just having like kind of this after such a long. For you, it probably wasn't a long time because you read them all like. But having that long wait in between. And just kind of, getting that Mage of No Renown back into the world and then into KD25.
Yeah.
My fourth one is Recursion.
Oh, nice.
Blake
Crouch.
Yes.
Yeah, this is another one.
Just don't spoil nothing.
I won't.
Okay.
Recursion, I felt very similarly about Recursion, like how I felt about 11/22/63. It had some moments that just had me like absolutely bawling. There, especially near the end, there's some moments where I was just like, oh my God, and just going back over and over and over and over, trying to fix things, and like eventually like you fuck things up so much that it's just like how do I fix it? Yes. And that's what I love about time travel books, is because there's always a reason to time travel. There's always like that one thing that you're trying to do. And by doing it so many times, sometimes you make things worse.
Yeah.
And I just loved all the like themes and concepts that are explored in Recursion. I love the characters. There's so many moments that are just like those family moments where you're just like, oh, I love this. Like it's so good. So Blake Crouch made it onto my top 3 last year as well.
Wow, really?
With Pines,
With Pines, okay.
Solid.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if he was on next year's as well. I got to go into his back catalog now because I think I'm all caught up. I think maybe there's Upgrade or something that just came out.
Oh, okay. But Recursion was like the latest, but maybe not.
I think Upgrade just came out, but I don't know. I know he's got like a back catalog that they either love him or him, and so I'm hoping that I want to finish Pines. But Blake Crouch is definitely like a new like favorite author in the same kind of category that like Dean Koontz is or something.
For sure.
All right, number 3.
My number 3 is the Lives of Locke and More, Gentleman Bastards.
Oh man, I read that last year. No, it was this year.
Yeah.
So I had read maybe 45 minutes of the first book.
Yeah.
Like how forever ago.
At least a year ago.
Forever ago.
At least like a year and a half ago.
And it just wasn't hitting me right. And Spencer has been on my case ever since. He's like, you need to just fucking finish the first book.
Yeah.
Because the second and third book you were gonna just fall head over heels for. So I did. I finished the first book and then immediately fell head over heels for the second and third. And it was absolutely just such a fucking cool series, dude.
Yeah.
All the thieving dynamic and the characters and the things that they do, it's like Mission Impossible, like back in the day, but also like
times,
but not quite, you know what I mean? Like the stakes are that high. And it was just so cool, man. I really, really loved it. And I apparently there's gonna be another one someday, we think, right?
Yeah.
Someday.
I'm really, really ready for that whenever that happens. And so that was earned it on my place there.
Yeah. That
big time.
Dude, that was one of those books where I was saying for so long, because I knew you would like it if you could just get over the hump. I knew that you would love it.
You were spot on because I fucking loved it.
Dude, there's this text. I wish I had it. I wish I had it ready to go.
I could probably find it.
Where I was like you told me that you were reading it, and I was like, oh my god, he's reading it. Oh my god, he's reading it. And I told him, and I was just trying to get him to the second book because I knew that the first book might be iffy for him, but if he could get to the second one, like he would fall for it.
Yeah.
And there was like this moment where I didn't know if you had gone to the second book yet. And I was just sending you a little hint. I was like, just so you know, like the second book is called Red Seas Under Red Skies.
I have that. I think I found it.
Dude. And then you text me, you're like, I'm a few hours into it. I fucking
all right,
love
I have both those messages right here.
Why don't you read it? Yeah.
So Spencer says to me, he's like, by the way, the next Locke Lamora book is Red Season Under Red Skies. That's the one you're gonna love. Do you think you'd be able to knock out this is other stuff, Dark Matter, blah blah blah. And I was like, probably not, man. Talking about this different series, probably won't be able to finish, man. I'm in love with this series now. Already a couple hours into the second book and not gonna stop.
Yeah.
That's what I said. And that was like, that was what,
So I said
2 weeks ago, and you said yes. Fuck yes, I fucking told you. That was his reply. And I was like, guys, like you should never doubt me, but don't ever doubt me again.
Wait, so you think the second book is better than the first?
Well, no. So I think he thought,
or he just would. He just
thought
gave
that I would get more hooked into the second, but I loved it because I loved the first book. First book was awesome. Once I finished it, it was really awesome.
Because I haven't even read the second yet.
Really?
I've been trying to get you to keep going, but
so you ever read the second or the third book?
I haven't. I just stopped at the first.
You just read the first,
dude. You gotta read them, dude.
Really?
They're so good. They're so good.
I feel
how did I not? I thought you read the whole series.
No, I read the first one.
Yeah, you gotta read them.
Okay.
They're really good. Put it on your TBR.
They're
awesome.
They're so good because like the first book has the best like well-rounded story.
Dude,
but I feel like the second and the third are the most fun.
It's so wild,
What I feel like the series does is in the first book it like establishes, okay, these are our players.
This is where they stand.
This is what they do, and like we're gonna give you like this really well-crafted story in the first book, and then the second and the third, it's like, let's just take Locke and John and throw them into like this sandbox and just fuck with them and like see what these characters do when we throw crazy situations.
Yeah, and it is crazy, but it's also still very like it's still very like
down to earth.
And based on like a story. It's not just some wild random shit. Like there's a great storyline behind the second and third that really do a good job.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
My third. Okay. There's just kind of a toss up between this and then what my second's gonna be, but this was actually Dresden Files Dead Meat.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you guys had recommended I get into Dresden Files. I was talking about it, and so this was my introduction. I mean, I know this is like, what is this, number 7?
No, it's a great introduction.
But it's a great place to jump into the series. Yes. And I mean, it was thoroughly enjoyable.
I'm so glad.
I love Dresden as a character. It was amazing. It was funny. It was exciting. It was
cool, dude.
That's
yes,
great.
That makes me so happy. That makes me so happy.
I liked the characters. The story was great. I mean, it was a fun read.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
And it was one of the more enjoyable reads that I had this year. So
cool.
For that reason,
very nice.
Sweet.
Makes my number 3.
Hell yeah.
Do you want to like continue on?
I do. Yeah, for sure. It's just Priorities.
Time,
Yeah, there's
dude.
priorities,
We know how
yeah.
it is, man. The tea bar's
Yeah.
getting bigger and bigger every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. So at some point I'd like to read another Dresden book though, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I thoroughly enjoyed the character. He was
Nice. My number 3 is King's Dark Tidings 5.
Okay.
Yes.
KDT 5.
Yeah.
That's Dragons and Demons is the name of the book. And man, this was a book that I was looking forward to for so long. And especially like having Kelcade kind of involved in, like in that episode we did. Dude, it was just like such a good experience all around. And I feel like that book did a good job of the fourth book answered a lot of questions, but it also left a lot of questions kind of open-ended.
Yep.
Yes.
And it was kind of this thing where it's like, all right, well, we're waiting like 4 years for this next book.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, man, we have so many questions, and people were
Settling.
yeah, people had all these theories and stuff. It went on for a while because she was busy writing. There was another series that she was like contractually obligated to do. And so finally, dude, that feeling that day when I'm like, I'm downloading King's Dark Tidings 5. Like, holy shit. It's just like, it is like a similar feeling to like how I would feel getting the next like King Killer book. Or something.
You hyped us up for sure.
Yeah.
Dude. I remember I was delivering packages to an apartment complex, which is always the worst, dude.
Yeah.
I hate apartment complexes, they suck.
Yeah.
But you told me, and I was like, I think I even asked you for money for the credit because I didn't have money. I was like, send me the money for the credit, I'll pay you back, whatever. Download the book, and I'm just on top of the world. Dude. Just delivering packages.
Was this the book where like we had the podcast in like a week for it, and we were supposed to be like almost done with it, and Spencer's like, "How's KDT 5 coming along, Chris?" And I was like, "Oh shit, is that out?" Was that this one? And you were like, "Oh my god, are you serious?" And I was like offended that you believed me. I was like, "Bro,
come on, dude."
I was like, "No."
Oh yeah, that was good.
You were like, "Wait, are you serious?"
I was pissed.
Oh yeah.
Bro. Oh, that was so funny.
That was really good. That's why I love the group chat.
I was proud of that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's so good.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Yeah, I just think that like Dragons and Demons, like it gave us all the answers that we wanted from the previous books.
Left 50 more.
And then added more questions for the next part of the series.
Do you think? I think for me, I felt like it was a net positive though for
definitely
for sure
big time,
yeah. I feel like
some of the biggest questions that people have ever asked
were answered.
Right.
Like, okay.
Yeah. And so much like foreshadowing and stuff, like coming full circle and whatnot. Yeah, that was fantastic.
Number 2. All right, my second pick for this year is the Unwind series.
Ooh, yes.
Oh god.
Spencer, I remember before I even knew that Neil Schusterman, the guy that wrote, the Scythe series, Gleanings, all that, I didn't even know that he wrote this. Spencer would message us one night. He's like, "I'm listening to this book called Unwind. It is the craziest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's got some of the weirdest shit ever." And so I was like, "Oh, that sounds scary. Like, I don't want to listen to that. Like, I don't know."
Yeah.
Blah. 6 months later, I'm like, "All right, I need something to listen to." Spencer's like, "Listen to Unwind." I was like, "Okay."
All right.
I start Unwind, dude, and literally the first like 45 minutes of the book, I was utterly sold. I was like invested. Like, ready to listen to more. Some of the craziest, like, kind of mind-boggling stuff happens with it's hard to explain almost, dude. There's it's political but not, and it's like just weird but not. It's really wild.
You know what it's about, right?
I do.
So it's abortion and not abortion, and there's this whole war about this stuff, and kids, they can be unwound from 13 to 18. It's just really wild, dude. Like, and the first book was cool. It sets it up, and then the rest of them are this they're like fighting a war against these people, this crazy government. It's like really just awesome. So I loved the shit out of that series, and it's it was a battle from my number 1 to number 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh.
It was a battle.
Yeah,
For
it was really, really good.
Yeah.
And I would say not like it wasn't like just as good as the Scythe series,
Yeah.
but it was
It's different.
the same author, right?
Yeah, same author, but it's so much. It's different in a unique way.
Right.
It's still just as awesome.
Like
Yeah.
it's so hard to compare the
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
And like
They're not. Yeah.
you can tell when you're reading Unwind, you can tell that it's the same
Yes.
like professionalism
Yes.
and talent that went into
Yeah.
Scythe.
Okay.
Exactly.
And so yeah, those are really fantastic. My next read is the third one.
Awesome, dude.
That's
Yeah,
the
you
next-
gotta finish it, dude. I
Yeah,
can't
you
wait.
haven't finished the series.
I can't wait.
I got 2
Oh,
books
man,
in.
I can't
Okay.
wait.
And
Okay.
I got distracted, but
I was like, that's all
Um,
I cared about, dude. I was
yeah.
like sleeping, like dreaming about these books when I
Yeah.
was listening to them. It was gnarly.
yeah, dude. Because when you finished it and told me that it wrapped up well,
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And so I literally just before I
Yeah.
hopped on the plane here,
Yep.
I finished that Stephen King
Awesome,
book. So
awesome.
Unwind is
Nice.
my next series that I'm going to complete.
Awesome.
Which Stephen King book did you finish?
11/22/63.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So my number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Steal this.
yeah.
You need some lube.
Some-
throw it.
some liquid courage.
Yeah, liquid
Uh,
courage.
Yeah, this has been an interesting journey because this is a series that you told me to start, and I started it, and I was like, I hate the main character.
Yeah.
And a couple chapters in, I was like, I hate the main character. I'm putting this down, and I probably put it down for, close to a year, maybe. I don't know. And so,
What is this?
Yeah, I'm wondering
you know
too.
what this is? Oh, you're
He
gonna
will
know
once
right.
you say
Yeah,
it. He will.
Yeah.
Well, so the series is the Red Rising series.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, Red Rising. And so, like I said, he told me, he recommended it.
That's how
I started it, and I got several chapters in. And I was like, this Darrow guy sucks.
That's
like,
right.
I was like, I
Yeah.
can't stand him. I don't like. I was like, the setting is not intriguing to me.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
putting it down,
Yeah.
and I put it down for close to a year.
Yeah.
And then Spencer read the subsequent books in the series. Like, you
He said,
have
need
to
fucking
keep
read
going.
him, dude.
Yeah.
You have to keep going. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'll try it again. I put it off.
Yeah.
I finally picked it up, got through Red Rising, and was like, that was pretty good. So
Not so bad the second time.
yeah, so
Okay.
I kept, I made it through and was like, Daryl's not a bad guy. So
Yeah.
Right.
I kept going. So my number 2 is the third book in the series, Morning Star. So yeah, that was, they just kept upping the ante in each of
That's
the
what-
books.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it just got crazier and crazier. And the ending of Morning Star, I was like, holy
Yeah,
fucking shit.
dude. God.
Like, something happened in the end where I was like, no.
Yeah.
And then the twist, I was like, oh my
You're like,
god,
holy crap,
yeah,
dude.
wow,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was
crazy.
it was nuts. It was insane.
Yeah, dude. I listened to the most, I think almost all of the first book, and then I stopped because I felt the same. I was like, this is not, like, it was cool, but like I'm just not that intrigued with it.
Yeah.
And Spencer was like, dude, fucking shut up and listen to the second and third book.
Yeah.
Just finish them. So that's like
That's coming soon, right?
Yeah, he said that the other day. He's like, that needs to be like 95%, like the highest
Yeah.
on your TBR is
Yeah.
that those.
Oh,
books.
you haven't read the
I
third
haven't
one?
read the second or third.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've only finished the first book, and I
Yeah.
was like, I wasn't happy with it.
okay.
Yeah. See, most people feel kind of like medium on the first book, and then when you get, if you even get like 15% into the second book,
Yeah.
you should be like, oh, this is
So,
fucking awesome.
Yeah, so let me preface. So I did start the second book, and I made it enough to see the kind of the scale of the battles that are going on with different factions
But
and stuff.
you probably only saw
No,
the
I
first,
just saw
like,
a glimpse,
starship.
just a glimpse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was all it was. But I could feel like there's the potential for greatness is there.
Yeah.
Like, I can see that.
And like it does become like epic in scope, but that's not like what I loved
Yeah.
about it. I think like in the second book specifically, you get to know the characters on such Morning Star is my number 2 as well, by the
Yeah.
way.
Oh, is
Nice.
it really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And so like you get to know the characters on such a personal level, and you understand like what makes them tick, and from that point on you can kind of guess like, oh, this character is going to do that, or this character is going to do that, because you know them so well.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with every single character. And the ending of Golden Sun, the second book, dude, oh my god, I remember. And then it just
Darrow's triumph, right?
what's that?
Darrow's triumph.
I was like,
Yes,
don't say
no,
nothing.
You're right.
That's
I mean, it's called this triumph. That's
That's
just
fine.
not-
I won't get nothing from that.
Yeah.
You're right. that was almost bad.
It's okay.
My bad.
I plugged my ears quick. I got it.
So yeah, dude, the ending of Golden Sun had me being like, this is one of the greatest series I've ever read. Like that, just that final like chapter.
Yeah,
I was
like,
just
holy
because
shit.
that happens and it just fucking ends.
Yeah, you're like, damn.
And you're
wow.
like, and I've never jumped to the next in a series so fast.
That quickly. Yeah.
Like literally like seconds. I was like, I gotta download Morningstar.
Buy it right this second.
Yeah. Oh my god. And then getting through Morningstar, there was so many moments that there's two books that I cry all the way through, and it's the final book in the Night Angel trilogy, and it's Morningstar. Dude, I fucking cried all the way through Morningstar. There was a moment that you texted me, and I was like, that's the part I wanted you to get to. And oh my god, what incredible books. And I can't wait to go on to Iron Gold, because that, like, after finishing Morningstar, I was so like emotionally damaged that I was just like, I need some time before I go on to like Iron Gold. And so then that's kind of been like a priority for like the beginning of this year, is to go back into Red Rising. And Mike from Mike's Book Reviews is doing like a read along, so I'll probably join
Oh, is he
them
really? Okay.
with that. So yeah, Morningstar, what a fucking incredible book.
I have one question though from Morningstar. Where's Harmony?
Where's Harmony? I can't remember who that is.
What happened to Harmony?
Oh no,
What happened to
Spencer.
You'll have to remind me off camera. who it is.
He's gonna edit all that
Yeah.
out.
What happened to Harmony?
That's
Let me
right.
know.
He doesn't know. Don't let him edit it. He doesn't know.
We need to get the truth out there. Where's Harmony?
Yeah.
All right, man. I think it's your number one.
Dude, okay. So my number one, and this wasn't, there was no hesitation, there was no doubt within this, but the series He Who Fights with Monsters was my number one pick for this year.
Yeah.
By far. They claim that it is a lit RPG series. I would tastefully disagree. The narrator is an Aussie, great voice, super funny dude. He's an Australian guy. And it's about this guy that's just living in a world like us. And he basically gets like kind of grabbed from his world and teleported to a different world. It's not a game.
Narnia.
Kind of, yeah. But it's like it's not a game. It's quite a like different. It's like a different world.
Right.
And it is like so. It's almost identical to Cradle in the progression and the way that there's levels and you reach bronze and you get this stuff and blah blah blah.
Right.
So it's like very similar. Like I think it was either Cradle stole it from that or he stole it from Cradle. Like it's that close.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, and so it's just so good. They just released book 8 on the 14th of December. I listened to it that day. I asked him because I'm logged into his account. I was like, I need to buy credit right now. How much money do I owe you? Like, I need to pay you right this second to get this book. And I listened to it in a day. You know, it was 16 hours, and I listened to it all day and night. It's incredible. It's not done yet. There's 8 books, but I don't know, man. I really wish that you would try it out.
I will. Yeah, at some point I will.
But so the first book you're not gonna like.
Yeah, that's fair.
But you need to listen to the second book.
Yeah.
Right? You tell me
I haven't heard that before.
Sorry. Yeah. You need to try to listen to the second book, and I think you'll like it, dude, because it's not like Cradle. It's not like The Land at all.
Yeah.
Nowhere near.
Well, I gave the
You
Land
did,
two books
and you didn't like it. Well, that was great. That's
Yeah.
totally fine. I love that. But I think this you will actually like.
Okay.
Because there's comedic value that's awesome. The story's like it's like a very like morally challenging story with people that are like going through like there's the main character is kind of like he's going through the stuff that changes him, like kind of turns him like almost cynical and like kind of like just mean kind of, but he's like trying to battle that, and it's really cool. Really
nice.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely one that I want to check out this year, because you've talked about it like sometimes you'll read like a lit RPG
and I'll tell you like, oh, this is cool.
You're
No,
like,
this
I
book
liked
is-
it, but you might not.
This is I like this better than The Land 100%.
Oh,
way better.
interesting.
Way
'cause
better
I was
than
gonna
The
say The Land made it to your number one
Yes.
last year.
Yeah, no, this
huh.
is like way better. This is much. It's a
Okay.
much more clean, less fucking gamey type
Yeah.
thing. I think you would like it.
Okay.
Or, I don't know if you'd like it, but I think you would
Respect it.
respect it more than The Land. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out this next year. All right, that's your number one, Chris.
My number one. Well, it's if you see the list of books I read this year, my number one would probably be obvious. It has to be. Has to be this one. So I was lucky enough to finish The Wise Man's Fear in 2022. I actually finished it in January of this year. So the very beginning of this year.
Barely made it in.
Yeah, but I was late to the party, which
Sure.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You finished it, dude.
Yeah.
And I finished it in January of this year, and that is absolute. But it's by Patrick Rothfuss, by the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely one of my favorite books, favorite series, King Killer series, of all time. So I'm so excited. So excited for 3. Just the world that he's built and the characters he's built. I have not been invested in a book like this for years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even the books I mentioned today, it's like they've been great, but I'm not invested in them like
compare
anyone
Right.
else. Yeah. So
That honestly, that was the greatest feeling, like getting you into the King Killer Chronicles.
Dude, you checked off a box in Spencer's life.
Yeah.
A box in his life, dude.
Like,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
it was so fantastic because like I always feel like super confident recommending King Killer Chronicle to people. But I was just like, dude, Chris would love these books. And then for you to like get back to us and be like, oh my, you're like, I love it so much.
You're like, yes,
I was
yeah,
like,
dude.
Validation.
It feels,
That's right,
it feels so
validation.
good. It feels so good.
No, I'm glad you guys got
Yeah.
into it. It's amazing. And actually I just started the Slow Regard.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that little novella.
Good.
So
Nice.
just gonna knock that out real quick over this break because
yeah.
it's like I just haven't done it yet. So
That's right. Finish it, get it
Right.
out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jump back in for a little bit.
So if Wise Man's Fear, if you had finished it in 2021, what would have been your number one?
Oh
Wow, hit him with the hard shit right there, dude.
So it would have probably been Morning Star. And then KDT 5 would have been on my top 5 list.
I see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should have been. I should have been in my honorable mentions, to be honest, but I was kind of debating
Should have
between
been in mine too. So
KDT 5 and A Mage No Renown on my actual
Oh, yeah,
list.
yeah.
I didn't want to put both, but I
Right.
liked them
Yeah,
both,
that's
but,
fair.
and ultimately I liked Mage No Renown a little better because it was just like a nice condensed
yeah, try to
story.
separate
Just
like
Yeah. That leads us to my number one.
Oh snap! What's
This-
he got in his hand?
This is a book that I started reading on Christmas last year. I
The
got
day of.
yeah, like
and you
Wow.
just
Christmas
finished
Day.
it.
Yeah, I just finished it. Yeah.
There you go, dude.
Yeah.
That's a full year.
No,
That's awesome.
it's a absolutely massive book. It did take me about 3 months to read.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I had gotten a advanced reader copy from the author, and he's since become like a really good friend of mine on Twitter. And God, what a phenomenal book it is! We Break Immortals by Thomas Howard Riley. I can honestly say I've never read a book like this that just like moved me in so many ways and kept me so entertained all the way through. So basically, to kind of give you guys the rundown of what it's about. So Aaron, he's what's called a glass eye. And how magic is in this world is you have to be like licensed and registered with the state. It's like owning a gun.
Yeah.
You have a license for that
Yeah,
magic.
That's right.
Right. And there's people that either can't afford to get licensed or kind of live on the outskirts of society.
But
And-
can still use magic or like.
Yeah,
use their magic?
they're mages, but they
Yeah.
get hunted by the
okay.
authorities and
Gotcha.
stuff. And so Aaron is one of the people that hunt them down.
Oh.
And he's got this monocle. He doesn't have any magic, but he has these tools where his monocle will show him like in the world where magic has been used.
Oh, interesting.
And so he's kind of got like this CSI kind of
Yeah.
thing to him where he can like look at a crime scene and kind of figure
See what
out
happened there, yeah.
how it's been used. And then you have Corin, who is kind of like a mercenary for hire, and he's one of Aaron's friends. And so basically, there's like this mad sorcerer that's on the loose. That's kind of like what the prologue is you see this guy who's gone bad, and
Okay.
he's starting to like kill people with his magic.
Oh.
And so Aaron and Corin get sent on this quest to like faraway lands to like go track him down.
Okay.
And then Kellywin, she's a mage who is I believe she's not registered. And so she's what's known as like a rogue sorcerer. And she's kind of she's also hunting the mad sorcerer because he killed someone that she loved.
Gotcha.
And so their lives are kind of running in a parallel way. And there's a dozen other like really, really fantastic characters. Ariana, oh my gosh, she's such a good character. And this book has several Lies of Locke Lamora moments.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
Okay. Yeah. Like where you're like,
yeah,
you're like,
oh my god,
I
oh my
can't
god.
believe that just happened. It more than a couple of them.
Horse piss, man.
And it feels the same way. Like there's some like genuinely like heartbreaking moments, and the way that this magic is used, it's very Sanderson like, almost like Mistborn or Stormlight or something.
Has rules.
It has rules, and they're called renders. And so basically there's this slipstream that's kind of just up in the air in like another plane of existence that mages can pull from. And what you're doing is you're pulling attributes. Okay. So you're pulling
like speed, strength.
Yeah, speed, size, temperature, and you use all these different attributes, and you're kind of turning the toggles on each one. Like, I want like a sphere-shaped thing. I want it to travel at 300 miles an hour, and I want it to be frozen. And so you're kind of you can take all these attributes and kind of put them into this cocktail that makes your spell. And I kind of thought that the magic system was a lot like almost like graphic design or like 3D modeling. It had a lot because they can like shape the lingo that they use, like rendering something. And like they don't say like downloading or anything, but there's other words that they kind of use for that. And just the magic system was absolutely incredible. There's a few like curveballs that you kind of, there's like a learning curve to the magic, and you at first you're not really going to know how it's being used or what exactly is going on, but if you just keep going with it, then eventually you'll get it. And God, the ending, so one of the reasons why this is my number one, and I know I'm going on long.
You're okay.
But I spent 3 months with this book. And because I'm a slow physical reader, and every single night I would get home, and it was just like, for 3 months, it was part of like my kind of like
routine,
nighttime like
you love that, don't you?
I
love that. That's awesome.
And it's like I know that I'm gonna crawl into bed like an hour before I usually do. I'm gonna read as much as I can, and I'm gonna do the same thing the next day. And this book just like it just like lived with me for so long that I have such like a strong attachment to it. And not only that, but this is an indie published book.
Oh wow.
And it has its flaws. There's some things that maybe could have been taken care of in editing, like some info dumpy things here and there. And then the biggest one for me was like the spelling. There's spelling errors throughout.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But and nothing bad. Like instead of not, it would say now. So it's almost like it got auto corrected or something. But those were really my only two problems with it. Otherwise, this is like a traditionally published quality.
Nice.
This is AAA.
I mean, it looks like it.
I'm like, this is like AAA material.
And we even talked to him about it. So we had him on and spoke to him about the book and stuff. Which is really cool.
Yeah, and so it just, man, it's
Yeah.
the quality of this is like so high. It's like one of my most like treasured
I want
books.
to read it now really bad.
So here's the thing. This is
Okay.
the other part of my
Alright,
spiel.
let's hear it.
Is it does not have an audiobook.
Oh, so I'm probably not going.
Gabe's out.
Yeah,
I'm
Gabe's
out. Yeah, I'm out. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and
Will
It doesn't have
So-
one yet.
Will it? That's what I was saying. Will it
Yeah.
ever have an audiobook? Do you think? No.
so
Where's Nick Podell?
Okay, he's got it. He's ready.
I about maybe a month or two ago,
Mhm.
I contacted Thomas Howard Riley,
Yeah.
and I've had him on the podcast a few times.
Great guy.
But I just started thinking more and more about it, and basically, from what I understand, is like he works a day job as well as
he just
writing,
can't do it
and
all.
he can't like
Yeah.
an audiobook for this is like $9,000.
Yeah.
And
it's a huge book.
Yeah, it'd be like a 35 or 40 hour audiobook, and he he
Just not feasible.
Yeah, it's just not feasible.
Yeah.
So I reached out to him
You're
a
like, I'll
couple
do it.
months ago.
I'll do it.
And I was like,
I volunteered.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. I got
yeah.
you. I got you.
I reached out to him and I told him I would love to run a Kickstarter for you.
Oh wow.
Nice.
And so it's not something that we can do just yet.
Yeah.
We had a Zoom call, we didn't record it or anything, but we talked for like 2 hours in detail about
Nice.
how all of this could work.
Nice.
And he just released his novella that comes before this. It's just like a short story that I'm reading right now. But basically, we decided that in the springtime, it would be the best time to
Yeah.
get a Kickstarter going.
Cool.
After his prequel novella has been out for a while. So I'm just this is my moment where I'm kind of reaching out to all of our listeners. This is a Kickstarter that I'm going to be pushing very, very hard in the springtime. I'm going to be reaching out to a lot of other content creators to also get the word out about this Kickstarter. This is a book that I believe in so much, and I think that an audiobook would reach such a wider audience. And I think that this book over any other that I've read this year deserves to have that kind of like recognition and that kind of like that kind of treatment. So again, I'm going to be pushing it a lot in the spring when we finally do it. So if you can, please help with the Kickstarter. I'm going to be saving up money to donate to it myself. Like I said, I'll reach out to a lot of other content creators to get the word out. So if you see it, please share it, because it would really, really mean a lot to me and to the author. Yeah, that's my
Awesome, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I knew that would show up at some point. I didn't know that was because I remember talking to him about it and you explaining it to me, kind of like some of the magic and stuff, and I was like, that just sounds so wicked. Cool,
That sounds so wicked.
It's amazing. Like the characters are so good. I still think about them to this day. Like the main character, Aaron, he's a drug addict.
Oh.
Throughout the whole thing.
Wow.
And it's not a story where like, oh, he kind of goes through all this stuff and at the end he gets clean.
It's just like a drug addict.
He's a drug addict, and spoiler alert, he doesn't get clean by the end of the book. He's still a drug addict.
Huh.
And Thomas Howard Riley did such a good job of like capturing what that's like, and even
like the maintenance that's required and all that stuff.
and even all the little things, like all the like little manipulations, all the little like lies that he has to tell, and all these little things that and that's what I told him in our interview. I'm like, dude, I don't know if you have any like history with drug addiction or if it's in your family or anything, but you nailed it. I'm like, it's perfect. And so that was something that I really appreciated about it too. But yeah, We Break Immortals. What a fantastic book.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that man, that brings us.
Yes.
You did your number one, right?
I did.
We all did our number one.
We did.
Okay.
We did.
Awesome. What a fantastic year, guys.
It's been a good year.
I have absolutely loved this year as a podcast and just getting to do all the things we got to do. And I read more like high quality books than I ever have in any other year. Like even the previous year, I feel like there was a lot that I loved, but there was a lot of trash that I read as well. And I feel like I only went through a couple like dry spells this year with reading where I was like, I'm just not enjoying anything right now. And I feel like a lot of the books that I read, like my honorable mentions list could have been a lot longer.
Yeah,
honestly.
for sure.
I had to tone it down. So if your book didn't make it there, I'm sorry, but I probably enjoyed it if I had.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, here's to another year. Cheers. Thank you guys.
Cheers.
Boom. Sorry.
Thank you guys for kind of joining me for another year.
We're joining you. We're all together right now.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
Oh
Tell
yeah.
us, dude.
Yeah, like just thank you for like
Being here, yes,
yeah.
dude.
I'm excited for
Awesome.
2023. I
Me
think I'm
too.
gonna. It's gonna be a better year. Like,
Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
That's
Yeah.
the hope every year that the next one will be better.
Yeah.
Gonna
You know?
increase the length of the list of books.
That's
that I'm
right,
reading next year.
Yeah.
I know I've got some work ahead of me, dude.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Same. There's a lot of stuff
Yep.
I want to read. So.
Yeah. We'll have to try to do another one of these like in-person things.
That'd be
next
fun.
year.
That'd be
Sweet,
fun.
dude.
Yeah.
If we can make it a tradition, man,
Yeah,
every year, that'd be awesome.
That'd be super cool.
My house is always open, so
For sure. I was also thinking like it'd be super cool to like and obviously like not every single one of us could join for this, but I was thinking like a 12 days of Christmas, like upload a video
every day, just like a short one. That'd be
every
cool.
day
That'd be
before
cool.
Christmas,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
just like something, whether it's a review
On
or
the
like
first day.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
My true love read to me.
Yeah. Fanny surprise.
One doors of stone.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, dude, he's already got it. He's got
Yeah.
it down, dude.
All right, guys, we are going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for our Christmassy year-end episode. We sincerely hope that you had as great a reading year as we did. And a giant thank you to everyone who has joined us for interviews and collaborations, as well as those who had us on their shows. We are super fortunate to have this amazing community who have become true friends of ours and make all the work worth doing. Starting in the new year, we will be doing an episode on 11/22/63 by Stephen King. And then starting our dive into the Cosmere as we talk about Warbreaker, Elantris, the short story collection, and the Stormlight Archive, which I hope Chris joins us for. You'll have to start reading now.
Like,
you'll have to start reading now.
It's like a big.
Okay,
You need to
all
start
right,
reading
okay,
right
Fair.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyways, we look forward to exploring this popular fandom and finally being able to take part in that conversation that all of you guys get to have on the internet. We hope you'll join us for that journey as you subscribe to our channel. And most of all, we hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. May 2023 be just as filled with good books, awesome movies, and great friends.
Woo!
Yeah, dude.
That was fun.
That was great, dude.
Now it converts
Yeah, you got it.
for 12 hours.
Yeah, so that
Stop recording.
Yeah,
Uh,
stop
yeah,
recording.
you can
and
do
it'll
that.
convert.